to look a lot like Christmas. Toys in every store. I don't know.
Hey, Nick.
Hey, buddy.
Hey, it's December.
It's December.
It's the most wonderful time of the year.
Jesus,
well, that's
went,
not true.
That went really fast.
Oscars time is the most wonderful time of the year.
Thank you so much.
The second most wonderful time of the year is Christmas,
It's
of course.
Christmas.
And
on this show, we do not so Christmas movies that you...
We're bringing it back. Our not quite Christmas... Oh,
That's
fuck,
it.
I'm going to try and say that one more time.
I like
not
that.
quite Christmas movies special.
Yeah.
Today on episode 85 of Nick Tyson Videotape.
It was 86.
It is 86. You are totally correct. Today on episode 86 of Nick Tyson Videotape, we are looking at a movie that barely qualifies as a Christmas movie.
Look,
but
it totally does in most people's eyes.
It has Christmas in it, though.
It has Christmas in it, so it's Christmas.
So it's a Christmas movie.
It is.
Yeah.
And
we're
that's
talking
all it
about
needs to pass.
Yeah, I agree. Well, for our purposes anyway. So we're talking about Shane Black's 2005 film, Kiss Kiss Bang Bang.
Kiss Kiss Bang Bang.
The directorial debut of Shane Black.
And I forgot how good this thing is. We'll get into it later, but I forgot how good this is.
This was, I'd only seen it the once before, around the time it came out, and I remember loving it then, and I still love it. It's a lot of fun, and I'm looking forward to talking about it.
I know, right?
But Nick, before we do any of that, why don't you tell people where they can find our little show?
Well, gang, thanks for joining in. If you would, I'm sure you're listening to it either on your phone or in the car on your phone. Wherever you're listening to it, thank you so much. And if you can rate, star review us, that'd be great. Whether it's on iTunes, Stitcher, TuneIn Radio, all of those others, even on YouTube, you can listen to us.
You can.
Obviously can't rate us on there, but hey, I'm sure if you give us a thumbs up, it'll help so much.
Absolutely. Any kind of star rating, any kind of like.
Exactly.
Share, any button that you can click. Just click some buttons.
Click all.
All
click
buttons.
All.
Click them all, and while you're doing that, if you want to say something nice about us as well, that would be awesome.
Click Nick and Tice up to 1080p, see what happens. Maybe, we might sound different.
Listen to our sweet show on YouTube in full HD.
Exactly. Tice's voice turns into Morgan Freeman and mine turns into Christopher Walken. If you do 1080 on Nick Tice.
That's it.
But apart from that, we are on all the socials, which is Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, all of the good ones. But yeah, join in on the fun. Thank you so much for joining us.
Yes, and just to remind you all, if you would like to contribute to the show, and not in any way that you have to actually fork out any money yourself, all you have to do is listen to our little show on the Radio Public app.
So it's called Radio Public.
Yeah, Radio Public, a new podcasting app that actually pays its podcast hosts per listens. It's an amazing initiative, and so it's very easy if you want to support our show. All you have to do is just choose how to listen, and I have been listening to some shows on Radio Public.
Nice. And
it's a great little app. It works a treat.
Yeah.
And
do they have to listen to the app, to the actual episode, or do you just subscribe and they pay us? Or
you can just download it. Download counts as a listen, so you don't even have to listen in the app. If you want, just download the episode, then delete the fucking thing.
How good is that? And it's not going to cost you a thing, because to be honest, you're downloading through Wi-Fi.
Exactly.
And you're at McDonald's, aren't you?
Everyone's pilfering off Macca's free Wi-Fi. And we're loving it. Sick.
Exactly.
Very good. And just as a little bit of upkeep from last week's episode, in case any of you happened to come across any trouble while you were listening to our episode. It's never fear if there was a minute or so of silence that seemed out of place. It was, of course, because we, as we sometimes do, we put the trailers in, and I stupidly, of course, should have realised that a trailer that consists mainly of the audio to Circle of Life probably wouldn't get past copyright.
Obviously.
If in a couple of circumstances, if you've gone to listen to our show and thought, well, that's weird, there's just a minute and a half of silence, it's because Elton John tracked us down and said, hey, bitches,
hey, guys,
stop playing our money.
Yeah.
You either pay me a fortune or you stop playing the song.
Yeah. Which is totally in his right. Good on him.
Yeah, good on him.
Good on him.
It was nice of him to contact me directly. I know. I thought that was really sweet.
That would have been really nice.
He's a nice guy.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah, really cool. Yeah, great.
Did you sing any songs with him?
Yeah, we sang a few duets.
Oh, cool.
Don't you break in my heart. It was great. I got to be the girl.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, it's fun.
I like it. Okay, well, shall we start off like we do every other podcast and listen to some trailers?
I think that's a good idea.
Or watch some trailers. Let's do that.
Everybody's talking trailers.
Okay.
All right, here we go. A couple of interesting things to talk about today.
Oh, sure.
One of which, should we start with? What do you want to start with?
Let's start with the ladder and go to the
What's the ladder?
The ladder is Happy Death Day to You.
Very good.
I was stuck reliving the same day over and over again until someone wearing a baby mask murdered me on the night of my birthday. Turns out it was my roommate Lori. I kicked her crazy ass out a window and killed her, which broke the loop. But now I'm living the better version of my life.
You okay?
No.
Oh, hey, you're up. I folded your pants for you.
No way.
Dude, did you hit that or what?
I don't believe this. It's Monday the 18th again.
Go.
Stop global warming.
Go.
Today.
It's your birthday.
I thought it ended the loop, but I'm back. Oh my God. Everything's different. This time, it's coming after all of us.
If you don't reset the day and try again, they're dead for good, aren't they?
So I'm gonna have to die over and over again to save all of you.
I mean, I guess you could just reset the day yourself.
Genius idea. Okay, let's do this.
They like me, I want them to love me like they love pop.
If I don't stop the killer, more people will die. Failure's not an option.
Focus, man. My money on my mind. Got a meal out the deal, and I'm still in the grind. Now, shorty says,
I'm literally dying to figure this out.
a girl from Wooded, they buy, and they ready to
Oh, hey, you're up.
All right.
So yes, which surprised me because it literally wasn't that long ago that I watched Happy
Well,
Death
that's
Day.
it. We did the episode during our
Spookisodes.
Spookisodes of 2018, which was only probably 6 or 7 episodes ago, really.
that.
And we did, we did an episode on Happy Death Day because we like to do a recent kind of successful box office cinema release horror film, and so this year we did Happy Death Day, and now we have the trailer for Happy Death Day 2U, the sequel.
The sequel, which you knew it was coming out. It kind of left it, number one, left it lingering for a sequel. So you're
Yeah,
like, oh.
you knew. Look, and they obviously were onto a good thing. I think we might have even
Exactly.
discussed that. I think it was a bit of a surprise how well it did, and so obviously chucking a sequel into production was a pretty bit of a no-brainer. Yeah.
man.
So what did you think of the trailer, Nick?
I didn't see. I thought they were going to. Okay, so another person gets Groundhog Day horror style, but no. Same chick, same day, but this time the killer is going after everyone. So I think what I got from the trailer is whoever dies.
So what we're discovering is that so at first it played. I don't know if that the roommate, the funny Asian roommate guy.
Yeah.
I don't know if he's just been a funny bugger at the start.
Yeah.
But it seems as though that her friends start to relive the same day before she does.
Yeah, right.
Then she ends up in the same loop back to the
where
first
she
day.
was. Yeah.
But now with the added, like, she can't just solve the mystery herself and then go, okay,
They
we're
keep
off.
dying and-
She's got to
yeah,
make
yeah.
sure that on the time she does fix it, nobody else can die because otherwise they will stay dead.
Right.
It's an interesting concept.
Sure.
Returning back, it's a bit Back to the Future Part 2.
All right.
We're reliving the events of the first film, but just from a different perspective. It does actually look like there's a time travel element to it because we have bits where they're seeing like the same person. They're seeing like their person from the future or the past.
This is why Back to the Future 2 is my favourite, because you see the opposite side. You see the camera switch and go, oh no, we're going to show you what happened in the first one from this angle.
Back to the Future 2, don't get me wrong, I love it.
My favourite.
I love it so much more as as like an experiment in cleverness than I do a great movie. You know what I mean? I think
Yeah,
number 1 and 3 are on par for me as like just great movies.
Yeah.
Number 2 is like ridiculously clever.
Yeah.
And very entertaining, but I just don't think I don't think it's as good as 1 or 3.
Yeah. Can I ask a question while we're on this topic?
Yeah.
How do you rate 3? Because I've been told we were talking about, which is a very, it's a very hot topic for us. What trilogy is the best trilogy?
Right.
Like that's a hard question.
Back to the Future's got to be in the conversation.
For me, it is.
Yeah.
And a lot of people don't rate 3. They're like, no. 3 was just
Those
Back to the
people are
Future with
crazy.
cowboys. I'm
Those-
like, no.
Those people are crazy.
Yeah,
Absolutely
come on.
crazy.
Are you insane? That ending was the whole film itself amazing.
I
And
love
they're like,
3.
No,
I
it was
rate
Cowboys.
it. No, I rate it so high.
So do I. It's great.
Yeah, I think it's a heap of fun. Heap of fun.
So good. So yeah, I just want to make sure.
And
that you're
without
on
it,
the
we
same
would never
level.
have got Brokeback to the Future, the wonderful parody trailer of Brokeback Mountain and Back to the Future, which they took most of the footage from number 3 from.
I know.
So,
Golden.
you got to be thankful for the things that we've had due to Back to the Future Part 3.
Part 3, exactly. ZZ Top in a film.
Exactly.
How good is that?
Exactly. Yeah, so it looks like there might be some time travel elements, which is cool. I like that they're kind of... I'm kind of excited that this franchise, if we want to call it a franchise
It's going to be.
It might just kind of go balls to the wall and just be like, oh, we're going to do time travel, we're going to do all kinds of things.
But in doing that, though, and watching the trailer, it was a little bit too much to swallow for me. I was like, what's going on? Hang on, what is going on? Because I don't understand.
I can't
anything.
really discern the
plot.
The ins and outs of the plots.
Yeah,
I think we get just a nice general kind of overview of it.
Right.
It looks like they're leaning into the comedy a little bit, so because this trailer's definitely selling it as a bit more madcap than I think the first one did. I think the first one
was a flat out horror.
Well, horror
with some comedy elements.
With
rather,
comedic
this
elements.
is the switch. This is comedy with horror elements.
This feels like it might be more of a down the line horror comedy. But having said that, I laughed a lot in the first one, so I'm ready to go along with this one. Yeah. I like the killer. I like the babyface killer. It's effective.
It's scary.
I'm excited. I'm actually interested to see where these characters are.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
I can't remember many of their names, but she had a stupid name like Bush. Tree.
Trianon? What was it? Yeah, Tree.
Trina, and she was nicknamed Tree.
Tree, yeah, that's right. Yeah.
We get the return of the sorority house leader girl who...
We do. Laurie.
Who was very funny in the first one, and she gets a funny line at the end of this trailer.
Of course, the boyfriend comes back, Carter.
Yep.
Yeah.
I'll
You're
see
for
this.
it?
Yeah, I'm for it. I actually...
Well, I'm going to wait until you tell me that it's decent.
Sure.
And then I'll maybe give it a watch.
I think the small amount, like there's enough goodwill for me from the first one, which I thought was...
It's going to roll
was
in,
a pretty
is it?
decent, good time. Like, I had a good time watching it, and... I think there's enough there for me that I'm like, you know what, I'll give this one a go too.
All right.
Yeah.
I don't think I was completely sold on the first.
You weren't
as
fond of it as I was.
Yeah.
Having said that, I wasn't like going mad for it. I just thought it was
good.
It was a good time. And I thought it did a lot of things well.
Nice.
That it didn't have to do.
Yeah.
Like that worse movies don't come near to doing. So yeah, I'm kind of interested by this.
It was a well put together film. I remember that much.
Yeah,
I remember
definitely.
it wasn't cheap. It wasn't, going it for the cheap seats. It wasn't reeling it in. It was like, no, we'll just do this and don't worry about it.
Yeah.
No. They had storyboards. They knew what they were doing. They thought it through. Continuity was there. Sure.
It was well put together. Yeah. The spoilers for Happy Death Day.
Yeah, it spoils it hardcore in the trailer.
So if you have not seen Happy Death Day, do not watch the trailer to Happy Death Day to you, unless you don't care.
Because it gives you a sort of a previously on Happy Death Day.
Yeah, she basically wraps it up in the one sentence synopsis, which is quite funny.
Yeah, so it's good for the generation that, like, there's people who go, well, I haven't seen the first one. Don't worry, watch the trailer. It'll wrap it up for you.
Yeah, that's it. You got everything you need.
Fine. It'll be fine.
I do like, though, that it appears that she's back, the killer from the first film.
Yeah.
Spoilers. Like I said, spoilers.
Yeah. Even though she got literally kicked to the chest.
It looks like maybe this time, because there's a shot where she gets murdered, and Tree is actually quite upset about it.
Oh.
And so I'm wondering if maybe... their relationship is actually going to be different this time around as well, which is kind of obviously means that she's actually not the killer this time.
Maybe because of the time traveling thing that you were talking about. Because spoilers for Happy Death Day, she's killing her because she wants to sex the married man.
Yes,
the professor.
The professor. Yeah, I'd actually forgotten why. I was glad you remembered.
Oh, no, right. Hey, that's the one thing that stuck with me. That was the one where I was like, are you fucking kidding me? That's your reason? That's your motive? Anyway, maybe she goes back time travel-wise and doesn't do that, so they end up being friends.
Maybe. Well, because it was this weird...
she didn't
Did you see the shot with the giant, like, electronic ball thing?
Yeah.
So...
It's...
Jesus. Nick, why don't you go?
No, you go, please. By all means. That's hilarious.
We might as well. Like, that happens when we Skype. That happens when we Skype a little bit, but we are literally sitting a meter away from each other, and we were staring at each other, dead in the face, waiting,
no, you go.
And 3 times in a row.
It's like when you go one side when you're walking down the street, you're like, oh, sorry about that. How foolish of me. Let's do a little dance.
That was so good.
Yet someone cuts you off on the road, you're like, you fuck. Yeah.
Oh man, that was fun.
Maybe she didn't buy the almanac. That's what I was going to say.
Yeah, exactly.
Maybe she didn't buy it.
Yeah.
And now everything's fine.
And now everything's fine
but
again.
But the killer has to come out of somewhere, Tyson.
The killer's from the future.
See?
Surely.
Maybe she stuffed up something while
Killer's
going back.
Like future her.
She went back did something, but accidentally did something else. So now it's another killer.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm a little interested. I've interested myself. I've made myself interested.
With plot developments
With plot
that are most
developments
likely
that
not
literally
going to
not
be in
in
the
it at
movie.
all.
Yeah. Hey man, whatever you got to do to get your bum in the seat.
Exactly.
That's
Yeah,
how it works.
yeah.
I think I'll see this. I'm pretty keen.
All right.
Yeah,
Tell me if it's good.
I will.
I'll give it a listen.
definitely.
Give it a watch.
Next, Nicholas,
Oh dear.
we have
We have
very exciting news.
Which I don't like that you made me do this, but that's
I know
okay.
you never do this.
I'd never do this, but because we have a film podcast, Tyson's like, "Well, Nick, everyone's
Maybe
watching
this
this.
one."
Everyone's watching this,
Yeah.
so how about we have it to watch?" I was like, "All right, let's watch Captain Marvel."
So, Skrulls are the bad guys. And you're a Kree, a race of noble warriors.
Heroes. Noble warrior heroes.
Your life began the day it nearly ended. We found you with no memory. We made you one of us. So you could live longer, stronger, superior. You were reborn.
I keep having these memories. Something in my past is the key to all of this.
You know how to fly this thing?
We'll see.
That's a yes or no question.
Yes.
Would you like to know what you really are?
I think I had a life here. What aren't you telling me?
You've come a long way, but you're not as strong as you think. This war is just the beginning.
I'm not gonna fight your war. I'm gonna end it.
Now, this trailer only came out a couple of hours ago.
It did.
So this is pretty hot off the presses, Nick.
Fresh,
By the time the episode comes out,
old as
Old
the day,
news.
Old as the day is long.
exactly.
But
so
you get.
we're
some-
getting it now with all the hot goss that you guys are not going to hear.
Yeah, that's true.
So we saw the first trailer. I think we did talk about the first trailer pretty extensively.
Well, we had to because the first shot of that first trailer is Captain Marvel falling into a blockbuster.
That's right, and we did love that. I remember being kind of lukewarm on that first trailer.
Yes, I remember, especially because you pointed out that she literally doesn't change her facial expression, and I went back and went, "Wow, she really didn't."
Yes.
Whoever's on editing, come
Yes.
on. But this one, we get some meaty story ties. We get a little bit of a story happening here. You get the introduction of the Skrulls. If people don't know what the Skrulls are,
Skrulls are obviously a huge part of Marvel folklore, and
Massive.
we're getting kind of
we're getting
We're
a
under the
kind of
impression
an origin
that-
story of
yeah,
them, I
but
believe.
I'm under the impression that they've been around up in everything
For
so
a
far.
while, yeah.
And knowing what I do know about the Skrulls is that any of the characters we've met so far could end up being a Skrull.
Yep.
Which would obviously be a nice little fix-all for if they're trying to do something like maybe bring back a character who has died, or a character that maybe was evil and they want to give
They wanna switch it
redemption
around a
to,
bit.
or vice versa. If they have
Yeah.
one of our heroes and they want to turn them evil, it can be revealed that they were in fact a Skrull all along, and blah, blah, blah. So
It's a good way to do it.
It's a good way to do it.
It's very smart writing.
So it's nice of them to say, okay, well, what we're going to do is we're going to set this movie in the 90s, introduce the Skrulls there, and then we can retroactively apply those rules to any of the movies that were set from 2008 or 2010, whatever they set them in. Did you see that timeline that came out? Like Marvel released an official timeline of when all the movies are set.
Oh, what?
Yeah.
No.
It's kind of interesting.
Well, I need to look that up after
Yeah,
this.
it's not groundbreaking or anything, but it's just funny because they've actually said straight off the bat that I think it says in Homecoming, I think it says 8 years later, which
this is the fuck up? Is this the whoops, we made a mistake?
So it starts obviously with the cleanup from Avengers, which was set in 2012.
Which is where Vulture starts...
so
Michael
Vulture's there with his crew, and that's when they come in and shut him down, basically.
Yep.
I think it says 8 years later.
Right.
Or 6 years later.
I'm going to watch it again. I've wanted to watch it again that much.
People were kind of like, what? So does that mean this movie's set in the future? It must have said 8 years later. I believe Marvel have come out and said, that's incorrect.
Sorry about that.
Yeah.
We dropped it.
Yeah, we did actually make a mistake on that, which is kind of funny.
To be honest, they can.
They've flat out just said...
They're fine.
No, we messed that up.
We don't mind. That's fine. You're doing great.
If that's the worst, they do.
Yeah, exactly.
I
tell you what, Kevin Feige has a plan. And
he has many balls in the air.
He knows, no, we're going to introduce the Skrulls. That's how we're going to introduce Captain Marvel. And well done, man.
Yeah.
Like, this is some serious thought by a producer that knows what he's doing.
Absolutely.
Like, hands down. I listened to a podcast with Kevin Smith.
Oh, yeah.
And the question that I think someone wrote in or something, and they said, who is your favourite filmmaker? A lot of people said Martin Scorsese. Other people said, Spielberg, whatever.
Sure.
Kevin said Kevin Feige.
Oh, nice.
And they're like, whoa, does it? Hang on. And like, no, he makes films.
100%.
100%. He may not be there on the day, but he's the one, with the ideas, and he has the master plan.
Yeah, absolutely.
The man is gold. I like it.
And it is a hell of a master plan. I mean, it has been to this point.
Can do no wrong in my eyes.
Yeah, I'm sure, even with the small missteps, I'm sure we have utmost faith that this is just going to continue and keep doing what it does, and we're going to love it sick.
Like last week, they cancelled the TV series Daredevil.
I heard that, and
Walt Disney came out. Walt Disney. Walt Disney came back to life.
Exited
and said,
his cryogenic chamber.
I don't like what's going on. That's what he said.
Yeah.
Disney came out and said, no, you'll still see Daredevil. Don't worry. It's just that it stopped on Netflix.
So we're assuming that Disney Plus is going to
pick up some
of these Marvel properties,
yeah.
Which I'm sure they paid Netflix a handsome sum in order to release the rights to those. This trailer though, second trailer,
yes,
second trailer of Captain Marvel. Yep. I dug it. I liked it a lot.
It was pretty boss. I'm not going to lie to you.
Definitely better than the first one.
There were some costume changes. There was a bit of backstory.
Her costume is sick.
I know,
she
right?
looks so awesome when she's floating around and with the helmet and
the
whatever the fucking
mohawk
fireballs
and
shit
thing is coming out of it. Yeah.
Badass. It looks awesome, and I love how it's so colourful, like the blue and the red outfit. It
looks awesome. Looks so awesome, doesn't it?
So good.
And especially the contrast with when she's in space and becoming the captain that she's leading her team. She's got a different outfit as well.
Yeah, the greeny kind of black
blue,
one.
Yeah.
Which is when she's leading the Kree squad. Have you noticed that Dimon Honsu is one of them? Who ends up being a villain in Guardians. Yeah. That's interesting.
It's a bit of backstory there.
Did we know he was Kree?
That I don't know.
I'm not sure.
I don't think that we did.
Okay.
I know.
So he obviously something happens to him. Obviously,
maybe he gets.
What do we assume? Are we to assume that maybe the Kree squad end up betraying her or something,
or disbanding? I'm not sure. They could go either way. I haven't read a lot of Captain Marvel.
He's a
Captain
Skrull.
Is
maybe he's like a
exactly. No, if he was a Skrull, he'd have the chin thing in Galaxy in Guardians.
Oh, you reckon he just would have given up on his disguise and just been like, here I am.
No. I think, something happens and he turns bad or gets persuaded by maybe someone with a gauntlet.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, even Jude Law, who is meant to be like her mentor, there's a weird little shot of him kind of patronizing her and being a little bit kind of...
Yeah.
Seems like maybe he's not as...
Well, the rumors are that
as
he's the villain of the piece.
He's the villain.
That's what, That's
so
what
the Skrull guy that's there is maybe not
not
the
pulling the
villain.
strings, yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Not pulling the strings,
Interesting.
so to speak.
Interesting.
Yeah, so there are a lot of things that this, which I love, because Marvel is known for doing this as well, kind of giving you a little taste of something, but that may not be where it is.
Yeah.
The major one that I remember was in Age of Ultron. You see the shield broken, and I thought they were going to kill him off, which I have done before. I just thought, a little bit early to do that just yet. Still got a couple of Cap movies to go.
Of course.
But no, that was
ended up being a dream
sequence.
Yeah.
Exactly.
What what was I going to say? I like how we actually talked about this phenomenon last week when we discussed the second or third, whatever, Replicas trailer.
Oh, yeah.
Which is course correction from trailer to trailer because of audience reaction.
Oh.
I love that they've now... Because after the first trailer, there were a lot of people, and obviously comic book fans put two and two together and said, "Oh no, she's not punching a grandma.
No,
there's these thing called scrolls, and they can take the shape or whatever they like, and it's clearly a scroll. But obviously, people that might not know about this go, "What?
Oh my god,
are we watching? Why
Brie
is our
Larson
hero
just hit a grandma?
Why is our hero punching out old ladies?"
But it's not even. They don't even put two and two together. If they see a movie like that and someone's extracting violence against the elderly or young kids, they go, Brie Larson just hit a grandma. Like it's not the movie. It's not the character. It's Brie Larson. She hit.
Guys, did you see Brie Larson smacked out an old lady?
I know, right? It's not even in the script. She just belted an old lady, and they got it on camera.
Yeah, she pushed in line at the food services, and she just fucking decked her.
I know. She had it coming. Goddamn old lady.
But yes, so this trailer. Yeah, and so now we get an extended action sequence in the trailer.
We do.
To show that, no, it's not an old lady. It is a villain.
And the smile that she does is quite scary looking.
It is.
I'm going to watch this trailer again.
Yeah, I actually want to watch it again.
I have to now.
I think I want to watch it again. It's a great trailer.
I like teasers and that's it. I'm in for a little. But the first one gave me shit. You're right. And this one was nice. First trailer.
That's all the thing. If I had loved that first one sick, I probably wouldn't have watched this one. It's just because that first one just didn't all the way do it for me.
Didn't, no. I agree with you.
And this one has really got me on board. I think it looks spectacular. Like so much more. We got such a better idea of the special effects and the set pieces, her powers,
her relationship to Nick Fury.
Yep.
Which you get. That's quite nice. It's nice seeing Nick Fury in a different. Not in as so much power, like and not as so much control in the other ones.
Yeah,
which was good.
I know.
I love how. Do you know what I was thinking about the other day? I love how at the end of Winter Soldier, Nick Fury takes off the fucking eye patch. He burns everything. It's such a ritual thing that he goes, no, I don't know. Just comes back. Not where's he gone? Not where's he we may get like a spin-off Nick Fury movie, which would be badass if we did. But to be honest, I prefer the Black Widow movie first. Yeah. But apart from that. You're like, okay, so did you just burn that stuff and now you're back in the eye patch? Like, what's going on? And
I suppose he had to go buy it.
He just rocks up in Age of Ultron and is like, hey, what's up? I got carriers. I got aircraft carriers. Do you need them? I got them.
Wasn't when didn't he? Hang on.
He just rocks up. He's like, hey, with War Machine. War Machine.
Oh, that's right.
This is a War Machine.
He was hiding out and he was hanging at Hawkeye's farm, and we haven't seen him since then, aside from. Spoiler alert, the after credit scene of Infinity War.
Infinity War?
Yeah. Like we hadn't seen him since Age of Ultron.
Exactly.
That was actually quite nice to see him again.
It was. It's been a while. Do you think they'll do a Hawkeye movie?
I've heard that they want to do a Hawkeye TV show.
Okay, that's nice. Well, they're doing a Winter Soldier and, oh my God, he's a Falcon team-up TV series.
Oh, really?
That's only on Disney+.
Like a road trip movie.
Not a road trip movie, but
it should be the two of them just hanging out in that little car.
Can you move your seat forward?
They're in. Yeah.
I cannot. That's not the line, but it's close.
It's close. I've also heard that they're doing a Rocket and Groot animated series.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
That'll be good.
Yeah, that could be fun.
Yeah.
Disney Plus, man, they're going to crank out so much stuff.
I'm already in.
I'm going to be honest with you.
Not in.
I when it came to the Marvel TV series stuff, I thought I would be all in, and I thought I'd be like, do you know what? I'm going to be so addicted to these TV shows.
Yeah. And then you watch Iron Fist, and you're like, fuck.
I didn't even get to Iron Fist. I am so happy living my life without the pressure of knowing that I have to watch these television shows anymore.
But the thing is, like the guys at work not only watch them, but they watch Flash, Gotham, all of the other ones as well. Supergirl.
Yeah. I'm so
Green
overwhelmed
Arrow.
because I wouldn't know.
Like,
I wouldn't know where to. I would be so overwhelmed if I wanted to start watching those shows.
Inhumans, all of these other ones that you're like, fucking, who has the time for this shit?
Just don't have to watch I have to watch 3 seasons of Arrow before I even get to the other shit.
I'm pretty sure it's 4.
Oh,
but yeah.
And I'm like, I'm over this already. Like even that part of it, I'm like, no. And then what have we got? That Legends of Tomorrow series. What the fuck was that? had fucking
saturating the media.
had the dude from Prison Break and
did,
Brandon Routh in it.
Brandon Routh, exactly.
And then there's crossovers, and I'm like, when do I watch these? At what point? I'd have to have a
where is my
spreadsheet
timeline?
in front of me. Like, and look, nerds have or will have already done this for
They've
me.
done it
I'm
everything.
sure I could just Google it and not have it.
Google Images, bang, it's there for
It's
you.
there. It'd probably give me
is.
episode by episode how to watch it to enjoy it the most.
You'll be fine.
But I'm going to be honest with you, man.
It's a full pass.
It is a hard pass. Because just the thought of that gives me like serious panic attacks.
I'm having hard enough trouble let me start that again. I'm having hard enough trouble keeping up with Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., let alone I've still got to do all of second seasons of Jessica Jones.
Yep.
Punisher I haven't even watched yet.
I haven't watched the Punisher series.
You haven't even done Defenders, have you?
I haven't done Defenders.
How have you not done Defenders?
Because
at
I was
least?
halfway through Iron
Fist.
No,
Iron Shit.
Luke Cage.
Luke Cage is actually quite decent. Apart from, like, you watch the first half, and then once is it Ali dies?
Yeah. Well, that's the last episode I saw.
And then you're like,
and I was so upset because I was like, well, he's the best thing in this show.
He is, yeah.
So I'm,
But I'm going to give it another shot. I am, even though I know that they cancelled it. I don't care. I'm going to give it a shot. I'm not watching Iron Fist though. You can't pay me to watch.
I heard the second season was a lot better.
I don't care whether Captain America himself rocks up in it. It's a hard pass for me.
I do not blame you. Life is short, man.
Exactly. Captain Marvel, yes, please. March next year.
It's going to be a good year next year. It's Captain Marvel leading straight into fucking Avengers 4.
Avengers 4. I like that it's Avengers 4.
Well, they haven't officially announced the title yet.
Yeah, but everyone knows what it is.
What is it?
There's posters.
Oh, yeah, but no, because it's something kind of.
Is it? It's like Annihilation, but it's not.
Yeah. You're right. Something like that. So, maybe Annihilation is the title, is what we're saying from a brief Google that we've had.
It's a maybe, but there are so many fan things nowadays.
Well, we did just while we were Googling for the title.
While we were giving it a Googs, we came across the fact that this week is quite important. It might be quite important.
Maybe.
It's a maybe. It's a possibly.
So we might have the Avengers 4 trailer this week. So if we do, we might try and, Nick, we'll see how we go. We might try and squeeze in some kind of quick little
Talkin Trailers neckties session.
Like said, so it's essentially from the future, from when we record this, because I'll pop it in right here. Oh,
there you go.
Wouldn't that be weird though? But if nothing's there, we apologise. So it could be there.
We just gave you. We don't apologise. What we gave you is just some comedy gold.
Yeah, exactly. Comedy gold.
Yeah.
It's a big year for Marvel. I'm excited for next year. I feel like this year, aside from Infinity War, because the only other we got Black Panther. I shouldn't. That's not fair. That's not fair to say. It was a disappointing year. It was pretty big year.
Big Black Panther, and I love it. And Ant-Man and the Wasp just doesn't get a mention. It's because you haven't seen it.
I have actually seen it.
Oh, you have?
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
It doesn't get a mention.
I didn't even want to mention it on What Did We Watch this week because I liked it, but that's about all I've got to say for it.
Okay. All right. I'm going to give it a watch, and we'll discuss it at a later date, maybe.
You've seen it?
No.
Oh, you haven't seen it yet either?
I haven't.
Right. I thought you were saying that you saw it and you liked it.
Black Panther, though, you've got to give that props. I can't wait for number 2.
Yes, I loved the live-action adaptation of The Lion King. It was awesome.
How long have you been hanging on to that?
No, I saw that.
No,
that's not my joke either. I shouldn't claim that as my own. I saw that on Facebook. But they're not wrong.
That's true.
Well, I think that's probably it.
Yeah, that's it.
It's looking like a good movie, and we know we're going to see it. I mean, who the fuck are we kidding?
It's a no-brainer. It's literally a no-brainer.
I literally have no brain.
No-braining. Shall we?
Yeah, it's feature press time.
Feature press. Bells will be ringing. Okay, here we go.
And now for our feature presentation.
What carol was that?
It's a sad news. It's a bluesy one. I figured I was playing it. I heard it at work today. So this is Christmas.
Oh.
It's
No, it's not. That's the John Lennon tune.
Please come home for Christmas. Please come home for Christmas.
I feel like you're just making this up.
No, I'm really not. I'm playing it for you now.
Oh, won't you come home for Christmas?
No,
it's
not.
cold
It's really
and
not.
snowing.
What the fuck is this?
I'm making this up.
Oh,
It's
you're
going to make us
making
rich.
this up.
It's the newest. It's the newest, like,
It's gonna
fucking
make us
famous
rich.
carol.
Christmas blues.
There's
Mistletoe.
mistletoe sitting in my.
Stop. This is weird. I've got nothing.
Parlour.
I'll play it with you later. I'll play it for you later.
On
Christmas
the
tree.
eggnog
Snow.
on the stove.
Do you like Christmas carols?
Yeah, I fucking love them.
I really do too. I really do.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
can't get enough of them.
I love them.
That's like
A cappella Christmas carols.
Oh,
are
yes,
so
beautiful.
Lovely. So lovely.
Look,
to me.
I'll be honest. The traditional ones I could give or take. I listen to them happily, but
Sure.
for me, it's the crooner era of
Oh,
Christmas
really?
carols. Like those songs are
So good.
fucking brilliant.
Yeah. Sammy Davis Jr. singing Christmas carols.
Oh.
Even though he was Jewish, beautiful.
Yeah,
Yeah. Lovely.
yeah. I like Sammy Davis.
Yeah. Who doesn't? You're an idiot if you don't.
Yeah, he was a hell of an entertainer.
We're starting the. I have to stop saying ritual is the first one that comes to my head, but it's not a ritual. It's a Christmas tradition that I'm starting with my family, Tice. That when we put up the Christmas tree, we play Christmas carols.
Of course, you've got to.
So you've got some Michael Bublé in there. You've got a beautiful Sam Smith. Can't pass.
Does Sam Smith have a Christmas album?
Of course he does. What are you
Everybody's got a
insane?
Christmas
Please,
album.
everyone's got a Christmas album.
I've got a fucking Christmas album.
Exactly.
Find
Nick
it on
Tice
iTunes.
has a fucking Christmas.
I think we talked about doing this. That we were going to do this one year. I feel like we had this conversation last year.
Yeah. It's a couple of crooners with a little bit of a cappella in there. It's fine. Yeah, it's lovely.
Interspersed with random movie trivia.
That is a horrible fucking album right there. I know, interspersed with like little trailers, Christmas trailers, like Kiss Kiss Bang Bang.
Exactly.
And this is where we bring it back to the feature press.
It is. So our not quite Christmas music. Oh, fuck.
That's all right.
Every
You'll
time.
get that. You'll get
Every
that.
time.
I know.
Our not quite Christmas movies.
You do it to yourself.
Segment.
You make up these titles.
I just thought that one flowed off the tongue.
Swallow.
Turns out not at all.
No, not at all.
It's too many sounds.
Yeah. Christmas carols.
So yeah, this week we are looking at another Shane Black movie because it's a cheap fix.
Look, it's going to happen.
We know that we can talk about a Shane Black movie because every one of his movies is set at Christmas.
Exactly. We did Good
Longest Good Night last year, which you can track down if you go to our archive. You'll find that episode.
Exactly.
And now
amazing
Shane Black written.
Yeah.
And now we have Shane Black's directorial debut, Kiss Kiss Bang Bang from 2005.
And it's such a. I've said this before, and it just highlights what I've said. Is a first directorial debut. Not always. Is just like your first album that you've mulled over for ages, and because he wrote this as well. There is no fodder. There's no scene that you can do without. No, nothing at all. This is just a beautiful film.
Well, it's really interesting to see how he interprets his own script. We've obviously seen some pretty great directors tackle Shane Black scripts.
Yep.
Richard Donner, John McTiernan,
Yep.
Rennie Harlan. Maybe you can argue whether or not he's a great director or not. Tony Scott.
That's true. There's tons that we're missing.
Yeah,
he's written tons.
Of course.
Yeah.
So he kind of had the who's who of 80s action directors.
Just chomping at the bit for his scripts. Because they were dark.
Stuff.
That's the
yeah.
thing.
And look, each of those movies, while they have very distinctive Shane Blackness about them,
isms.
The directors have attached their own, kind of quality to them. So you can watch them and you can feel the rhythm and the dialogue and all that kind of stuff. And his quippiness and his very, maybe overly smart dialogue delivery. But here we get to see how he interprets it and how he wants to present his own script.
Exactly.
And it's a really interesting thing to notice. And I think what this movie has so much that a lot of the other ones don't have is varying tones throughout the movie.
Yeah, that's true.
We jump really quickly from scenes that are quite hilarious to things that are pretty
a bit full on.
Yeah, pretty full on. Yeah. And sometimes within the same scene, do we get a laugh and then quite a tender moment?
Yeah.
And I think it's funny that we can see that we don't get a lot of that in the other films. We don't get this kind of it's like a bit of a tightrope walk of tone. We don't really get that. You know what I mean? Like Last Boy Scout is just it's 80s action movie.
Yeah.
It is Tony Scott.
Yeah.
All through and through.
Yeah.
And it's...
But you're getting the dark of the, I'm not going to say hardboiled detective, you're getting the dark of the cop with the troubled past, but you're not getting it in a way that Shane Black possibly intended. This one you are.
Well, this is, exactly... There are, it would be interesting to go and read some of the scripts for
Lethal Weapon,
things like that, and see if there was an opportunity to do some of the things that he does do in this film. The way that, from one line of dialogue to the next, if it was interpreted by a different person, would it have the same kind of jumps in tone and things like that? Because maybe it's all interpretation, and having obviously when you direct your own work, you know exactly what the intent is of every single line, of every single
how it's
beat.
meant to be delivered.
Yeah, you know exactly what you
things,
want, and so you direct it 100% the way that you envision as you were writing it, and so you get really quite an interesting movie here. I think,
which is why I always love if the director is the writer, you're getting a unique vision. You're getting what they wanted, which is what you said. Now, if a director also wants to star in it, that's where I feel that maybe too many balls in the air for me.
Are there many?
Oh yeah, there's tons.
Writer / director / star, or is it just director and star, and they usually get someone else to write it?
No, I think there's a few. There's some that especially because if I look at a trailer credits before, I always look at a trailer credits before I watch the trailer for the film. If it's a film that I don't know, I'll look at it, and if director, writer, and lead actor are all the same person, I'm like, ooh, pass.
None jump to mind at the moment, but obviously there would be some.
First, I think it's Ben Affleck. I think that's the first.
Has he written?
I think he had something to do with writing Argo. I know that Argo was a book. But I think he wrote this.
Chris Terrio was involved in the writing of that as well, so he might have co-written it as well. Yeah,
I think I could be completely spitballing and making that completely up.
Sure,
but
I'd be interested to know how often that occurs.
So well, Good Will Hunting was one of them. Directing.
No, that was Gus Van Sant.
Oh, it was Gus Van Sant. That's
directed that one.
I love this movie. I'm going to go on board and say that I love this movie in equal part, actually even maybe more than The Nice Guys.
Oh, really?
This surprised me. Like, I've seen this 4 or 5 times. This is one of Sam's go-to films.
Sure.
She is a massive Shane Black fan, has been since Kiss Kiss, I think.
Yeah.
And so when Nice Guys came around, and especially because she's a Ryan Gosling fan, went, look, we're going to the movies, let's go to the movies, what are we seeing? We're seeing this, or I don't care what you do.
Yeah, exactly.
And every right. Only a certain circle of friends gets excited by the fact that Nice Guys was coming out. Like, we were all excited by it. But this kind of, especially because of its undercurrent of film noir that he's using in this, but not only that, it's... I have to go to my notes because I wrote it so nicely. Like the fact that he's paying homage while poking fun of the genre.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like, that is some fucking smart writing. To do that, sure, that's fine, but to do it well...
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, it's the best parody and satire is usually... If you're parodying and satirizing a thing, usually the best versions of that are also very good versions of the thing that you are parodying.
Exactly. So the fact that they're referencing the pulp novels, yet hitting all of the cliche tropes that actually happen.
Yeah.
It was so good.
And look,
which made me kind of pull me out and go, this as a film on its own is amazing. The fact that all of these things are happening, yet I'm trying to keep up with the story.
Yeah. So, look, and without the kind of the meta stuff, like if he wasn't commenting on, if the narration wasn't commenting on the effectiveness of a scene or, the telling extras to move out of the way and stuff like that. Like, even if it wasn't doing that, it would still be a pretty entertaining kind of potboiler of a movie. Revelations would be kind of surprising. You'd be trying to figure it out as you went. I like that the narration gives us that opportunity and says, hey, have you got it yet? We blah, blah, blah,
Are you
blah.
up to date, or do you need to catch up?
Yeah. And so, I think we get both sides of the coin. We get this movie where, yes, we can laugh and kind of go along with this narration that's very self-aware, that, calls attention to scenes that perhaps reek of being like scenes that are so full of exposition,
right?
That in other films, if you were watching them, you'd be like, well, I know why that scene's in there. Whereas this movie actually draws attention to them and says, hey, I know that scene felt weird. Clearly, that's going to become relevant later.
Yeah. He even stops it and goes, no, wait, I mentioned a robot. Now I have to fucking show you.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
That is so almost refreshing.
It is. Look, and, maybe I could see the argument that it's all a bit cutesy and all a bit kind of too clever for its own good, but it works on me and I really enjoy it. So I've got no issues with it.
Yeah.
Because I think for me, it gives it a structure that it feels really interesting and different. And so you sit down to watch a movie, and I love it when movies kind of knock me off my bearings a little bit.
Yeah.
And so you watch this, and I remember it. I remember that it happened, but I didn't remember the specifics of how it happened when I sat down to watch it this time.
Yeah. And
it really does kind of knock you around a little bit. It makes you you can't help but be like, oh, that feels really uncomfortable, and you're making me question how I watch movies, because I know what I want when I sit down for a movie, and I know what to expect.
Because you know the formula. Oh, that kind of came out of nowhere. Now I don't really know what's going to happen. Yeah,
and all the fourth wall breaking stuff is fun and cute and clever, and it would not work anywhere near as well as it does if it wasn't for Robert Downey Jr.
and Val Kilmer.
Yeah, and Val Kilmer doesn't get the opportunity to do that kind of stuff until right at the very end.
Right.
But Val Kilmer essentially is incredible. Yeah. Gives a great performance. But the stuff that Robert Downey Jr. does so well is that he can be personable. Yeah. He can be charming yet incredibly familiar. And so as he's talking and as he's just doing his shtick, he feels like he's just having a conversation with you. And it's so
it's almost
natural.
Like he's telling a story to you.
But not in any kind of formal way.
No.
It's like it really does feel like you're sitting down having a coffee, listening to someone tell a funny story.
Yeah.
He just oozes just natural charisma.
And the fluidity of how he says it as well. Like all of the things, it's not scripted. This doesn't feel scripted.
No, it doesn't. You're right. It doesn't feel scripted. Which is, testament to what Shane Black does really well. Even though, his dialogue is so clever that we would never, we're not smart enough to say that, to talk the way these characters talk.
Yeah.
We wish we were. That's the kind of thing. We watch them talk and we wish we sounded like them. You know what I mean? Because they're that cool.
Yeah.
But you're right.
But that's a testament to good writing. That's what that is.
Well, absolutely. Yeah. And the way that we can sit there and it can feel so natural and just feel like someone's just like shooting off the top of the head. And it works, and it feels really comfortable, and you just kind of settle into it. It's like, oh yeah, cool. I'm just listening to the story. It's great.
Yeah. And he's such an everyman. Like some of the things that he does, like when he throws the gun into the water, I would have done that.
Yeah, absolutely.
I would have thought that's a great idea. And Velcro was just because he fucking idiots.
Yes, exactly. It's funny. Like I heard. Obviously, this was a pretty kind of interesting time for Robert Downey Jr. This was
just coming out of it, was it?
I think this might have been one of
it was the just coming out of it.
The
phase.
biggest projects that he had.
Because he just did his stint in prison, I believe it was around this time. And then it wasn't that long, obviously. And it was.
Look, he had trouble with drugs and alcohol, I think.
Really? I thought he did his time. He got busted for possession, which I believe was 2 years that he served. I don't know. And then after that, went full clean, and then met his wife on the set of Gothica, which I believe was the movie after this. I could be wrong.
No, Gothica's a bit before. I thought he met her on the set of this movie.
No, it was Gothica.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, the only reason I know that is because of Inside the Actors Studio.
Oh, nice. That would be a cool episode. Yeah, look, he's coming off. Well, actually, 2005 was a good year for him because he also had Good Night and Good Luck, which is
I still haven't
an
seen
incredible movie.
Who directed it? Was that George Clooney?
Yeah.
Or was that Spielberg?
No, it was George Clooney.
I still haven't seen that, man.
Yeah, look, he was constantly working, but this for some reason felt like a bit of a return for Robert Downey Jr. It felt like a re-acceptance of him. Because I think for a little while we were all kind of a little bit wary of him.
No, because he was cashing it in. And even I remember he said that Inside the Actors Studio, he goes, I'd rock up to work wasted and not give a shit. And, there are so many things, when you are under the influence, there's only one way you can play something. Whereas when you're not, you're open to different things.
Sure.
You know, yeah, but I completely agree with you. This is almost a comeback.
It's what it felt like. I
Robert
remember feeling that way while I was watching it.
And in a similar vein, it's the last good performance from Val Kilmer. Would you say that? Because
perhaps.
This is where you were like, where the fuck was Val Kilmer? Well, that was amazing what he just did.
Well, but Val Kilmer was probably on the way out from then anyway.
Yeah, man, because it's been a long time since The Saint.
It had been a long time since The Saint. Look, Val Kilmer has had an interesting career, and
but I know, like, looking at this, you know, he's got it in him. He has got it in him.
Look, I love that. I honestly love Val Kilmer as an actor. I always have. I think he does really interesting stuff. He's never...
Just some poor choices.
He's just made a lot of poor choices, and unfortunately he has done a lot of kind of straight-to-DVD crap. And
I don't like him doing that.
No, and look,
I feel like it's a waste. It's a waste.
I want him to be better than that, but we can't always.
Exactly.
We can't blame actors for working. Sometimes they just have to work.
He plays one of the best characters, Tyson, that you love, and I know that you do. You're Daisy if you do, Tyson. I'll be Huckleberry. Oh, come on.
Doc Holliday in Tombstone is
down.
one of my all-time favorite characters. I love everything he does in that movie. And when we look at stuff like, if I go back, like, I'm a huge fan of the David Mamet film Spartan. I don't know if you've seen that before.
I haven't, but you've told me about it.
I absolutely love it, and I think he's fantastic in it. He was constantly doing cool stuff.
Yeah.
Ghost in the Darkness.
Ghost in the Darkness was so good.
I really
so
enjoy his
underrated.
performance in that. Heat, obviously, he's outstanding in Heat. And it's just, Willow. We cannot go without mentioning Willow.
I fucking love Willow. Mad Mardigan the entire way. If everyone is listening and they don't know what Willow is, Google it.
Yeah. And, perhaps not the greatest movie, but his performance as Jim Morrison really is something else.
I actually love Wonderland as well when he plays John Holmes.
I did. I saw that movie, and I remember it was that was right around that era where they wanted to. It was like that. It was like the poor man's version of autofocus.
Yeah.
When they were trying to do movies about just Hollywood people being dirty.
Yeah.
Basically,
it's so true though.
Yeah, so it's you might be right. It might be his last great performance, but it's nice to see that, like, you can watch a movie like that and say, yeah, look, he's getting a bit older. He's getting, he is getting on a bit, but he's still is so interesting as an actor. Like, because and will take really interesting roles as well.
Exactly,
because
he'll take a risk and do something different. Yeah,
and make a character not unlikable. That's the wrong word, but. Not be afraid to make the character a bit of a prick, and let his performance develop so that it grows on you as it goes.
Yeah, he's almost frustrating when you watch him.
Yeah,
I felt the same with Michelle Monaghan's character. Meanwhile, Michelle Monaghan, my God, you are stunning. But
she's gorgeous.
In any other movie, I would have found her character annoying, but in this and what she does with it.
She was doing some really weird stuff early in this movie.
Yeah, I
was
really drawn
character.
to her. She was great.
I feel like I was drawn to her a lot more as it went on because I feel like they kind of softened. It's a very odd choice of character the way they wrote her, the way they wrote her to be quite. I don't know what it is. It's not. She's funny. Like, she's really eclectic.
But it's almost it's not flippant, but. You're like, can you just calm down? Just fucking calm down.
Yeah, so much energy, so much like full energy, and no real clear kind of direction for that energy. It was it was loose and very.
But also, it turns from are you the love interest to hang on a minute, are you a partner in this?
Yeah,
kind of trying to solve this mystery and this detective thing. Like,
yeah, well, I mean, look, it's very Shane Black has a method, and he is happy to continue using that method as much as possible.
Yeah.
And I mean, in a maybe not so strange way, and aside from the fact that one of them is a daughter and one of them is a romantic partner,
right?
He basically echoes each of these three characters in The Nice Guys.
Yeah.
Ryan Gosling is Robert Downey Jr.'s character.
Yep.
This bumbling yet like inherently intelligent
but just a fucking klutz.
But a big old klutz
Like
who keeps stuffing up, but will eventually. But his heart is in the right place and wants to do good and has the potential to do good. You have, of course, the Russell Crowe echoes Val Kilmer's role, and then Ryan Gosling's daughter echoes
Michelle Monaghan.
Michelle Monaghan, because she starts off as kind of like a passenger or a side character that isn't involved, and then actually
is part of the
proves their
story.
worth quite quickly and says, no, I'm actually just as smart as you guys, and this is what is happening here.
Yeah.
Going back to what you said, it's funny. I think there's I like the Nice Guys, I think, quite a lot more.
Quite a lot more? I haven't seen it in a while.
I think the Nice Guys is damn near perfect.
Really?
Like,
I think this is.
I think this. I really admire how loose and energetic this is.
Yeah.
But to me, it's kind of like.
There are probably more funny parts in the Nice Guys. Sorry, what were we going to say?
No, it's more focused. I think the Nice Guys is more focused.
Okay.
And it's like, this is a bit of an explosion of ideas, and it can get messy at times. And I enjoy that. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
But it's like. It's like someone who has all these great ideas, but just isn't quite 100% able to channel it into a really perfect kind of delivery just yet.
Yeah,
And I feel like the Nice Guys is like the cleaned up, perfect delivery.
Yeah. Okay.
No difference in talent and no difference in ability.
Yeah.
Just wisdom of a little bit of age.
You don't think that Kiss Kiss is just slightly more well written?
No, I honestly couldn't tell the difference, because to be quite honest, in either of them, and this is one of those things we've talked about before, the plot is kind of irrelevant.
Yeah, that's
you
true.
know what I mean?
You're going along for the ride.
Yeah, so I obviously
at the start of this movie and the end of this movie, nothing has changed. Like, really, like, we found out like nothing massively.
There has been a story, but the inner mechanics of that story aren't what we're on board for. We're on board to watch these characters from the beginning to the end of the movie and how they develop.
Yeah.
And so
true.
The plot becomes a little, not irrelevant, because it's still very interesting while you're watching it, but it's less important.
Yeah.
So I think the writing in that sense, if you're saying is the writing better, I wouldn't really know.
Okay.
But if you're talking about like dialogue and character, I think maybe the Nice Guys is just a little bit more focused in that regard.
I think that is my favourite. I think I found my favourite double feature is Kiss Kiss Bang Bang and the Nice Guys.
Well, it's essentially the same movie.
That's fine. I'm fine with that.
I think it'd be a really interesting experiment to watch it, because they are, it's over 10 years between them, or just over 10 years between them, I think.
Yeah.
To see how a filmmaker progresses. So, because it's almost, to me, it's like when he sat down to do the Nice Guys, it's almost like, do you know what movie I love of mine? Kiss Kiss Bang Bang. Let's try that again.
Let's do that.
Let's do that. Let's just do that again.
We're doing that again. Yeah. Robert, do you want to do that? No, man, I'm full Iron Man. Okay. We'll do Iron Man 3 together, and after that, I'm going to see what Ryan Gosling's doing.
Yeah. Ryan Gosling.
Can I say, just coming back, like, I remember watching, because after I watched this, I watched the trailer for Nice Guys, and I'm like, hang on a minute, I can't like this better than the Nice Guys. I love the Nice Guys. That scene where he's in the toilet stall and Russell Crowe knocks on the door and he
keeps trying to pick up the cigarette.
That is either the most well choreographed comedy scene that I've ever seen, hands down, near Charlie Chaplin.
Yeah.
So good. That is hilarious.
There are moments in that movie that literally had me like gasping for air. I was laughing so hard.
Yeah. And most of it was the dialogue from the daughter.
True.
Or Ryan Gosling telling the friend to can you fuck off? Like,
it's just maybe and I did laugh while watching this. I think Nice Guys is funnier.
No, I think Nice Guys is funnier.
Yeah.
I laughed out loud quite a few times in this, but it caught me by surprise because I haven't watched this in quite a while.
Yes. What I think this one does really well is the shock value comedy.
Yeah. Because you don't expect it.
Yeah.
You think it's going another way and it goes completely the other
because
direction.
we're watching a pulpy kind of potboiler.
So obviously he's going to get his finger back.
And
I don't know.
That's it. And then all of a sudden his finger gets chopped off by a door. And there's no... It's because... And literally, probably... I can't remember exactly, but there's a high possibility that the scene before that, we saw someone die, or, we heard some fucked up shit about, a dad who did some terrible stuff to his daughter.
Yeah.
And so we're so caught off guard because we're set in a certain way, And we're like, oh, Jesus, this is pretty heavy shit.
Mm.
And then,
And then
a finger gets cut off by a door or a dog eats it. And, like we're constantly thrown for a loop. And I think that makes the gags better.
Yeah.
More enjoyable.
Yeah.
Because we are so off-center while we're watching this.
Yeah.
We're constantly forced to feel different things than what we are expecting to feel at that moment.
Yeah, like one of my favourite scenes that sticks out, like what you just said, was when Val Kilmer tells him that he was a ploy to get
Colin Farrell
back in, and he goes, "I understand if you want to hit me." He hits him, and he goes,
like,
"What the fuck are you doing?"
Before he even finishes the sentence. I understand if you want to hit me.
It's not the reaction that you think. You think Robert Downey Jr. is going to punch him and it's going to hurt. No, it doesn't. He just pisses him off, and he goes, "Pick up my glasses, you son of a bitch. Pick them up. Pick them up." So good.
Is it when he's
Ty's is dying.
When he's leaving the car?
Yeah. Oh,
just after.
Trying to push him up.
And that bit's funny where he's like, I've got to go. I've got to go. No, but is it when he's trying to get him out of the car and he's trying to talk to him and he just says, "Die"? Is that what he says to him?
He does. He hands him. He comes back because he hands him the phone and he goes, "You forgot your phone. Thanks. Die." And it's so good. It's so good. So in what you said before, the actual story is kind of, the nuts and bolts of it is kind of irrelevant. I always forget that watching something like this, because I'm trying to, much like when we watch LA Confidential, I'm trying to sort out what the fuck is going on.
It's always LA Confidential is the example that I use. It's always
I know, that's
that.
why I said it.
'Cause every time they get to that house at the end, I'm like,
fuck? Whose house is this?
What is going on? Who killed who? Who was at the diner?
So yeah,
what was going on?
So in this, I'm trying to put it together while trying to really. But at this point, because I'm watching it this time, this is about the fourth time I've watched it.
Sure.
This time though, I'm really enjoying what I'm watching from a film point of view as a whole, rather than trying to keep up with the narrative.
Yeah.
When I would watch it previously, it's the narrative and the acting, that the performances that I'm like, what, that was just fucking amazing scene.
Sure.
What the hell was that? Rather than if it's another movie and a scene pulls me out. But the start of the next scene, I'm like, well, what the fuck was the point of that? But in this one, because the narrative, I'm like, who is she? And why does she have a pink wig on? And who the fuck?
Look, don't get me wrong. It's like I do, as I'm watching it, I'm in.
Exactly. But I love the fact that towards the end, you're like, look, even if you don't understand what's going on, we'll tell you at the end.
Yeah.
Just enjoy the ride. You'll be fine.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And you look at something like an episode of Murder, She Wrote.
Sure.
Right?
Angela Lansbury.
Is about the plot.
Mrs.
It's
Potts.
about finding out who killed somebody.
Mrs. Potts.
Exactly. Now, it is 45 minutes of watching that unfold, and the joy and the satisfaction at the end of that is figuring it out as it goes.
Yeah.
The joy and satisfaction from this film doesn't come from that.
Aha!
Yeah. Who cares? Who cares? Like, I follow and I enjoy it, but ultimately, who cares?
Exactly. It's
You're
like
there.
Scooby-Doo.
Yeah, it's... Exactly.
It was always the fucking guy at the start in the mask, and it's always a mask. And you're like, aha.
Well, no, because then ghosts would be real.
Exactly.
I wonder if there's an episode of Scooby-Doo and ghosts are real.
I know there's a episode of Scooby-Doo where there are wrestlers.
Oh.
WWE wrestlers were in it.
Cool.
And I always wanted to watch it. The other one was the fact that Superman rocked up in Scooby-Doo.
No way.
And I was like, what? What has this got to do with anything?
I like that.
I have to watch this.
You seen that Harvey Birdman episode where they get arrested for possession?
I haven't. I heard... I came very late to Harvey Birdman.
I fucking love
I haven't
Harvey
watched
Birdman.
any of it, and I've heard the premise, and I still haven't watched it.
It's so great.
I have to watch that. That sounds awesome.
Very, very funny show.
Yep.
If you like anything like Archer or anything like that, you'll be all over it.
I'm in.
Yeah, so, well, I would like to then talk about these characters a little bit more in depth.
Yeah.
Should we start with... Let's start with Val Kilmer.
Let's start with Val Kilmer.
So we got Gay Perry.
Gay Perry.
Which is already a fantastic name in itself. And just kind of shows the cleverness of Shane Black, that he called his character Gay Perry.
Yeah.
Are we still comfortable with the language.
I am, because he's embracing it.
Yeah.
Like, even like, if he a little bit of a language warning here. The fact that he calls his gun in his glove box the F word gun.
Yeah.
If it come from any other character, you'd be like, oh, I'm not okay with that. Coming from him, that's fine.
Sure. This is just... I don't know how I feel about this either way, and I perhaps need to actually... I'd be really interested to hear the opinion of one of our friends.
Who like men?
Yeah.
Sure.
Because...
I don't think it's a big deal. As long as it's almost reclaiming the word.
Yeah, but... look, like I said, I don't know how I feel either way about this.
Yeah.
It's just throwing in the conversation.
Yeah.
Shane Black is not a homosexual.
No, he's not.
Val Kilmer is not a homosexual.
No, that's true.
These are the two people that are creating this character.
Uh-huh. I think it's fine.
You reckon it's fine?
Yeah.
I'd just be interested to know, because I can't help but feel like whenever that word is it rubs me the wrong way.
Yeah.
So when he does say stuff like that, I can't help but think, yes, I know you're
coming from.
I know you're putting it in the mouth of a gay character.
Uh-huh.
But him himself, Shane Black, is not a homosexual.
So this is the same argument that Spike Lee has with Quentin Tarantino and using the N-word.
Right.
They've been fighting about this for fucking years.
But he usually... I mean, obviously, there's that awful scene in Pulp Fiction where he says the N-word a lot.
Mm-hmm.
But is Spike Lee's issue with it that white people are saying it?
No, I think it's him. It's the fact that, yes, okay, I understand, but you use it way too much.
Sure.
Way too much. Whereas this, you're getting it from a character that is a homosexual. So, I don't know. Is it okay?
I don't know. I actually don't know.
I don't think it's a big deal.
Sure.
Yeah.
I think, look, and because I like that the character, it's a... This was also something else actually that I thought about, and I don't want to.
It's, you know what I love? It's the torture scene at the end. How he gets him to come down to his level.
Yeah, exactly.
I fucking love that.
Look, he uses his sexuality.
Yeah.
Against
different ways,
different people.
Yeah.
That sounds awful, but like to his own advantage. Like he empowers himself through it, which is great. Here's a funny thing.
Go for it.
Shane Black, right? We often have buddy. He writes pairs a lot.
Uh-huh. They're not actually pairs though in this, are they? They're kind of, but not really.
Well, it's a buddy cop. It is a buddy cop formula. He knows how to get two people to play off each other.
Yeah.
Is it strange that in multiple times he's had a fairly normal white guy, and then something else?
Either an African American, a gay man, or...
Do you know what I mean? Is he kind of...
We have to make it interesting.
Well, why isn't it
an African American man and the other guy something else? I don't know.
Anyway, just a
because
thought.
probably because he's writing from what he knows.
Is he equating difference? Like, is he saying, "Oh, well, I need someone that is a different
something"?
So a black guy, or a gay guy,
or a woman,
or do you know what I mean? Is that a bit? Anyway. Yeah. I'm not trying. Like, I'm not making any assumptions.
No, you're just asking, and
it was just something I thought about.
Ask.
That I was like, it's funny how we always have the generic white guy as the lead, and then something that he seems to equate to an opposing view to that.
Yeah.
Whereas he's never put the opposing view at the forefront, and then use the generic white guy as the opposing force to that.
Yeah. It's always the other way around.
Yeah,
that's true. I don't know.
Anyway, it doesn't happen all the time. Like, he's obviously nice guys. It's just two generic white guys.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, and a kid.
And he's had Last Action Hero. He's had Arnold Schwarzenegger and a kid. Yeah.
God, that was good. That was so good. I love Last Action Hero more than I should.
No. Liking it a lot is the correct amount to like it. It's great.
Liking it a lot is the correct amount.
Yeah.
Okay.
Definitely.
Okay.
Yeah, look, look, who knows? We don't have the answers to any of this.
No,
it was just something that popped in my head while I was thinking about it.
What's another? Is that it for Val Kilmer?
Oh, well, look, it reminded me how much I like Val Kilmer.
Yeah.
This performance. He's exceptionally funny. People don't give him credit
He
for
is quite
how funny he is.
And he did a lot of comedy in his younger days.
Well, you've got, Top Secret.
Top Secret, that was hilarious.
Absolutely hilarious. What's the other one? Real Genius? I have never seen Real Genius, I'm going to be honest.
Yeah. There was another one, though, with cows in the air.
No, isn't that
Is that Top Secret?
I think that was the thing for Top Secret, wasn't it?
I don't know. I just remember the colours when I was
it's Top
a kid.
Secret, yeah.
Okay.
Which is essentially like it's like a Hot Shots, isn't it? Top Secret. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
But not only that, like you get him back when he does MacGruber. Only, a couple of he's the main villain in MacGruber, and he is outrageously funny. It's one of those. You would never pick Val Kilmer as a comedian, as like a comedy actor.
But he knows what he's doing.
He really does know what he's doing.
His
delivery is outstanding. Like his comic timing is outstanding.
Yeah.
He can drop an insult like nobody else in this thing. It is so good.
He's so cutting as well.
Yeah, he really is.
Jesus, that was a bit unnecessarily harsh. Like some of the things that he said, and it's so good though.
So good.
And I love how, especially because of and I said it before, with the similarities to film noir, and how Robert Downey Jr. character, it just gets the shit kicked out of him in not only verbally, but emotionally.
Yeah.
And every other way to Sunday. He never gets anything right, ever.
Yeah.
Until the last end bit where it is a slice of action that you could not fucking write so well. The slide down and the kick with the gun, and he grabs it and bang, and the bad guy says, who is it Corbin Burnson?
Yeah.
I love how Corbin Burnson is in this thing.
L.A. Law.
I know, right? Corbin Burnson, and he just shoots him, and he's like, fucking magic, man. What the hell?
It's
so good.
It's funny to have. I mean, he writes his lead characters often as misfits, kind of, to a degree.
Yeah.
Usually,
very
though,
flawed.
yes,
Very flawed characters.
but usually much more capable. That's like,
this guy's not.
Riggs,
that's true.
Riggs might be fucked up in the head and all over the shop, but he's great.
He's
a good cop. He'll kick ass.
What's going on?
Bruce Willis in Last Boy Scout, same deal. He's
Massive
obviously
drunk.
a mess, but he's a great cop. He knows what he's doing.
Yep.
Charlie and Long Kiss
Goodnight.
Long Kiss Goodnight.
Long Kiss Goodnight.
Yeah,
see last year's Christmas.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Can kick some serious fucking ass. So it's I think it was really interesting for him to kind of try and tackle it from another direction and say, no, we're going to put someone who is in no way capable into that scenario and see how they play. And
he's literally just dropped into this. The fact that, like, how he got to LA and how he was
completely accidental. He
steals shit, and that's it. You know.
It is a great scene, though.
How good is that?
It's just so funny.
How good is the scene where... What is the name of the robot TV show?
Oh, I can't remember.
And
Crusader or something? Persuader?
The Future Crusader? I don't know what it was.
But
how
maybe.
that guy, that actor who plays that character, is in Michelle Monaghan's house, her character's house, and then he just falls to his death, and he's dead. And then they reference it later. Oh, I'm going to get you that toy because he died. And it's
he might be paraplegic.
No, that toy's going to make a lot of money because that guy's dead. I'm like, who fucking writes this shit?
Yeah, it was very funny. Very funny. So by putting in this kind of buffoon of a character, we're constantly getting our expectations kind of subverted because he will do what these other characters do. Like, for instance, in that opening scene, one of the very early scenes, we get the great tough guy dialogue where he's like, just walk away, buddy. You know, she better be...
You better be a doctor.
Yeah, you better be a doctor. You know, all that. And so we get the typical kind of... And it's still...
Hard-boiled, hard-ass.
But it's still very much Shane Black, too. Like, it would seem completely natural coming out of Bruce Willis's mouth or Martin Riggs' mouth.
Yeah.
And you would believe it, and the guy would be like, oh, I'm going to get out of here then.
Oh, fair enough.
But we hard cut to him getting the shit beaten out of him.
Like, really hard.
Yeah.
That kick at the end, I'm like, come on, you didn't need to do that.
So I find, and that happens constantly throughout this movie.
Everyone at the party knows as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, that guy who kicked the shit out of you.
Yeah.
Where the fuck? You were at the front. How do you know that? Oh, God, it was funny. I need to watch it again. I will happily watch it right now again.
It's incredibly rewatchable.
It's so good.
I want to watch Nice Guys again really soon. I really.
Does it have Christmas in it? Let's just make it Shane Black Christmas.
Oh, I
Let's
don't know
do
if
this.
it actually has Christmas
and we'll
in it.
do Lethal Weapon. Have we done Lethal Weapon yet?
No, we haven't.
Oh, we haven't.
No.
Would we do 1 or 2?
Didn't we? No, did we do Lethal Weapon 2?
I think we did Lethal Weapon 2. Did we do Lethal Weapon? What? No.
Did we talk about the whole movie?
I think we did.
Or did we just do it in like a... I know I've talked about it at some point because I watched it.
You have, but did we do it?
I don't think we've done an episode on a Lethal
Weapon. We can't do Lethal Weapon. I would have remembered.
We've got to get to it sooner or later.
I do the posters.
Yeah, we'll have to do it real soon.
All right.
Yeah, and so as we go on, he's constantly fucking up. He's constantly like garbage at what he does in a way that almost is surprising because we're given a protagonist and we want to our movie experience teaches us that he will be capable.
Yeah.
But he's in no way
not
capable
at all. And what's making it more watchable is the fact that you're seeing this character go through some things that yes are funny and he'll have backup and things like that, which is normal, but you're also seeing him deal with things that maybe are a bit hard to deal with.
Yeah.
Like dragging the body, and it took me to the flashback of it, dragging the body out of the water and pulling the dress, covering her up.
Yeah.
I didn't realise what he was covering up. I thought he was just covering up her legs. He wasn't.
No.
I didn't realise that. I saw it on the take. From that to watching... Is the actress in the pink hair? Is that
Shannon Sossaman?
I love Shannon Sossaman. Where the fuck is she?
Yeah, she hasn't done much, unfortunately.
So seeing her die and him watching that, and then having the reaction of coming out of the bed, dealing with what he's going to do, and you know what, you don't deserve to live. So you know what, I'm doing this. So having to deal with these things and seeing a character that is this flawed go through that is great, and it's why we watch it.
Yeah,
look,
we get, obviously the character building that they do for him is exceptional. I love all his reactions to the things that are a little bit rough. Like he's clearly quite a soft soul, you know what I mean? Like those moments, and it does end up being a plot development later, but in that moment when he does cover her up, all it is just the action of somebody who wants to leave dignity to someone that's passed away, and that simple movement actually tells us a lot about who this character is.
And in a worse movie, that scene would have been like, oh, there was a reason he did that. No.
All we think in that first matter is that it's just a good person wanting to do something to leave some dignity.
Yeah.
And
props to Shane Black for doing it so well to the point where you're like, oh wow, that was a big key.
Yeah.
In the plot.
Yeah. And he does, he obviously has a very kind of clear view of how he believes women should be treated as well, which is, which comes up a lot, obviously, with the first guy who's, touching Michelle Monaghan. He tries to step to him. He doesn't like the way the guys talk to, he says, what do you mean it's no big deal? A tick rap should be
a massive big deal.
That should be a big deal. What are you talking about? Who are you hanging around with? Why do you think that that's okay? Who has told you that that's okay?
This is all right. Yeah.
And the action of covering up the girl.
And you get that a lot in a lot of Shane Black films, from the woman who jumps off the roof in Lethal Weapon to the woman getting beat up in Last Boy Scout. You see a lot of these because you're seeing no one's perfect in a Shane Black world. No one.
Sure.
So you're seeing you're seeing him deal with or write about what women have to deal with as well on the other side of the coin, which is good. I feel you don't get these movies that often.
No, look, it's a nice, it's nice that he takes the time to kind of reflect on those kind of things and it's a nice way to show character empathy.
Yeah.
I think, is to say that no, he's actually a noble guy.
Yeah.
And look, he's not perfect by any stretch. Like, he still does some pretty fucked up shit.
Yeah.
And
I love how he hits the henchman. The henchman comes up, hits him in the face. He's like, I didn't even say anything. You hit him. And then they pull the gun on him. And I would do the exact same thing, but I love how he does it. He hits him flouncing. He's like, crack, and hits him.
How's that feel?
Do you like that?
Like being hit for no reason? Yeah, and look, so as he goes through that finale, I think becomes a really kind of important moment because we've seen someone be so completely incapable.
Yeah.
Like, it's just pure luck. And as much as it's probably one of my least favorite deliveries of the whole movie, but I like the sentiment behind it when she says the
line,
dialogue from when she was the magician's assistant, as in to say, Harry, come on, man.
Yeah.
We know you're a good dude and we know that you are capable. Can you just get your shit together and get it done once in your life?
Once.
You know, and I just don't like the way she delivers it. I just think it's a bit naff, and it just could have been a bit sweeter, I think, because moments like that, I am made for moments like that. Like, because that's my dumb courage moment where he just pulls himself together and goes, all right, well, we're going to fucking do this then.
Let's do it. Yeah.
And so, I should love that moment like 100%. I only love it like 90%.
Oh, okay. 90's still good.
90's still good.
90's still good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it is so great just to see him like believe in himself for that second and just go, no.
I know what
we got to get it. We got to get it done.
Exactly what
Let's just get it done. And he shoots and he hits and he's on target and he's confident and it's great.
Yeah. So good.
It's a great ending.
Yeah.
How messed up's that bit where he tries to give Perry mouth to mouth and then the blood comes out? That's a very unsettling moment. I've never seen that before.
Oh, really?
I don't think.
What?
Like actually someone trying to give someone mouth to mouth in a movie and then
blood on.
and then the blood pouring out of the mouth.
I've seen that before.
I
don't know what, but I've seen it before.
It's very effective.
It's good though.
Yeah.
It's very good. Because you think he's dead. Spoilers for Kiss Kiss. Damn it.
It's fine because it's like
2005 people, come on. Watch Kiss Kiss.
Here's an interesting question.
Sure.
So, yes, this movie is full of self-deprecating humor, and it calls attention to plot contrivances. They're still existing, though. Is it just enough to call attention to it and go, oh, yeah, I know. It's weird that everyone lives, but what can I say? It happened. Is calling attention to it and saying, just accept it for what it is that enough? Because it's still the contrivance. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's the one at the beginning that I find worse.
The one at the beginning?
Like when he says, well, that scene felt weird, didn't it? So, make sure you remember that information for later. Just saying that doesn't change the fact that the scene is kind of clunky and only there for exposition's sake.
No, I liked it. Yes, I agree with you.
Yeah.
But I like it only in this film.
Sure.
If it was another film doing it, I wouldn't have been okay with it. But because it plays out all the way through like that, I'm okay with it.
It's something that I always find interesting when I'm watching a movie or a skit comedy thing or anything like that, something that draws attention to it and goes, oh, wasn't that dumb? But is still letting that thing exist in their thing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So just by saying, oh, isn't that dumb? Ha ha ha. Doesn't fix the fact that it's still in there and you're still trying to use it as part of it. And I always wonder, okay, so how do you get away with that? What's the difference? If you don't call attention to it, all we would think is, oh, that's just bad writing.
Yeah.
You do call attention to it. It's like, well, if you knew it was bad writing, why didn't you fix it? Do you know what I mean? Like it's so I always kind of find it funny.
Yeah.
And in this circumstance, I think it's fine.
Exactly. This is the only one though.
But this is probably the only way you can get away with it.
Yeah.
Is that if you have a fourth wall breaking
character
narration
that
can, and you are deliberately trying to subvert expectations of a genre.
Exactly.
That is the only way you can get away with it.
It's the only way they get, and he knows that. It's smart, if anything.
Yeah.
Yeah. I have a question.
Go for it.
Now, this is a bit of a dark question.
Oh, okay.
But this is who I am. At the very end, Val Kilmer visits someone.
Yes.
Would you be okay with just slapping him around a bit? I'm not okay with that. I don't care how fucking old you are. Look, something's going to break. I'm going to break something. It's going to hurt. It's going to hurt a lot.
I actually...
Do you like that scene?
No.
Because that's the only thing that I could, like, because you don't give me what I want from that scene, I would rather you not have it.
I think it feels, of all the scenes in the movie, it feels the most unnecessary and clunky.
Yep. Because
whether or not morally how I feel about it, I think is almost irrelevant. Like, because I don't want to get involved because he probably deserves worse.
He deserves way worse.
And so Val Kilmer can slap him around for all I care.
Sure,
but in the context of the film, it feels really strange.
Yeah. It's not, it's a weird place for it.
Yeah.
Had that been, I don't know, maybe had that character come into it at some point somehow, then it's a bit different. But because you're tacking it on at the end as sort of a after Marvel credits thing, I'm like, don't do
as
that.
A post-credit scene, it's not one of Marvel's best.
It's not one of Marvel's best. It's I wouldn't have it. I wouldn't have it in there.
Yeah, but I understand why it's there. I guess it's for some kind of like catharsis, I guess, against a character that...
If you're going to give me catharsis, go all the way.
Maybe.
That's all I'm saying.
I think it says a lot about Perry's character.
Yeah.
And maybe some stuff that the movie doesn't explore about him.
Yeah.
Is that, maybe he had a sense of abuse through his childhood as well. And so he took it took that story on a much more personal level.
Not only that, you get a lot of what Perry says, how he is saying, I'm not a nice person. Like, he's the way that he treats Robert Downey's character, not wanting to help him, not wanting to help people at all. So in this, you're kind of getting a little bit more of a redemption from Perry's character.
Yeah,
almost.
maybe, because maybe he feels like, he's to a point thought that he was not a nice person, and then sees an opportunity to do something good.
Yeah.
But then again, but then they undercut it straight after with Robert Downey Jr. saying, what did he say? Yeah, that was a bit dark, wasn't it? That old man getting slapped around. Don't worry, he deserved it.
Exactly.
And I'm like, I don't know.
Don't do that.
Because I already felt a little bit funny about it.
Now you're drawing attention to it. And now I don't know what am I meant to be taking as sincere? Like, you're making fun of it almost.
Yeah. Should I read that scene as you sincerely wanting to, give some back to this awful human being, or are you using it as like a setup to a punchline? Like, so it's it's really the only scene that I don't like.
Yeah.
And I'd be quite happy without it in this movie.
Yeah.
I did just that was my last note. I just wrote the epilogue and big question marks.
Oh, really?
I was like, I don't know how I feel about it.
Because we haven't talked about Michelle Monaghan's character, let's talk about her for a bit. I love it. I love the fact that she's a little girl growing up, reading those novels, wanting to go to LA. Her character, how she's so driven on one point, yet will jump 5 different points to another. Any other movie, any other actor, I probably would have been annoyed, but I wasn't.
She's incredibly charming. It amazes me that she's not more famous.
Right?
And
same with Shannon Sossamon. Come on,
Shannon Sossamon had a go.
Did she? She's had her turn.
No, that's not nice. She had some attempts at least. Michelle Monaghan, I feel like, has just been constantly relegated to the wife of the lead.
Yeah,
and I'm like, she's
better than that.
She is better than
Give her a
that.
chance.
She's exceptional. And yes, while this character I found maybe not as entirely endearing as you did.
Yeah.
I still think that she is incredible in the role.
I love that.
And she's doing really interesting work because it was not like any other kind of... That female character seems like it's so stock.
Yeah.
But she makes it anything but.
She wasn't the damsel in distress, and she wasn't the femme fatale.
No.
She was almost like a mixture of both.
Well, she was kind of
but
bonkers.
Yeah, she was nice.
which was refreshing. Like, really strange and still, and kind of damaged, but in a way that she was...
You want to take care of her,
comfortable,
you want to take her
she
home,
was comfortable with it. Like,
Exactly.
she had made peace with that, and she was owning it, and she was moving on with her life.
Yeah.
And, that was contributing to her as a person. She would play tricks on, like, she'd be happy to kind of play around and be a bit of a kind of a smart ass.
But not only that, she would take the lead in, if you're not going to solve the case, fuck it, I will,
Yeah, she should be working a lot more.
She should be. What else is she doing? Apart from, she's in one of my favourite Mission Impossibles. She's in my favourite Mission Impossible, but then again, I haven't seen the new one. Have you seen the new Mission Impossible?
No, I haven't seen it yet.
Okay. That's disappointing.
It'll happen soon. It'll happen very soon because we're going to be I'm going to be catching up on everything I've missed. Yeah.
Michelle Monaghan.
So she's okay. Yeah, she was the wife in that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sleepless? Was Sleepless good?
No, I haven't seen Sleepless. I heard it was garbage. She's the romantic lead in that.
Yeah.
But it's a movie about a guy. She just happens to be the romantic lead in it.
See, it's a full pass. Come on. Come on.
I just, she just seems to me like I just don't understand why someone wasn't, romantic lead in that.
Yeah.
Why someone hasn't romantic lead in that. Why someone hasn't just gone, oh, why don't we build a movie around her? She's great. Why does she always have to play someone's wife or someone's sister or someone's girlfriend?
But I think this is the landscape that we're in at the moment, Tyson, and hence what we were talking about last week with Ocean's 8 not being
Why
what we
didn't someone call
wanted?
up Michelle Monaghan for Ocean's 8?
Exactly. What's wrong with
Her agent?
What's wrong with
She's got to
Michelle
fire her fucking agent. That's what. That's what I'd be doing. I'd be on the phone and I'd be like, they're making a fucking Ocean's 8 and you didn't get me an audition? What the fuck?
I think because we already had too many white girls in Ocean's 8 already.
Yeah, I'm just trying, in my head, I'm thinking which one she would replace.
You need some diversity there.
Yeah.
You know who she'd replace? She'd replace the every woman. The Catwoman that no one fucking cared about. Anne Hathaway.
Oh, no, Anne Hathaway was the big, giant movie star.
Oh, is she?
She could have done that role, or she could have done the Sarah Paulson role. Although, having said that, I love Sarah Paulson.
Is really good.
I do love Sarah Paulson.
Really fucking good.
Anyway. The other things I just want to mention in brief.
Yeah.
I really like the opening credits. It's really great getting that, like, the spy theme and the old James Bond Saul Bass style animation stuff. It sets it up so perfectly. It feels like a cross between a Hitchcock and a Bond thing, and like it feels great. Like
it's so good,
and it sets up exactly what you want from the movie. And I think
this movie, you feel like there were shots in this where I was like, I could be watching Lethal Weapon right now. Like this is so clearly, like this shot of LA. This is this is Lethal Weapon.
You could hear the dirty sax over it. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. And I just want to. I found this the best laugh in the movie, and I just wanted to call attention to it. Is when he's in the cafe, and it's like, tell me everything, blah, 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 blah. And it's like, did you get all that? And he's like, yeah. And it cuts to his pad, and he has a badly drawn cat, and then gatto.
Seriously?
That got the biggest laugh out of me.
Really?
Yeah. That was,
I think it's
outstanding. It's just the way it perfectly cuts to it.
It's not that for me. It's definitely something that Gay Perry said, but I don't know. I can't. Nothing comes to mind.
Gay Perry constantly made me laugh, but that was the one.
That was the gut puncher.
That was hilarious, and I loved it so much. And it said so much about his character at that point that his brain was wandering so much that he drew a terrible cat and took the time to write gatto.
Do you know what I love? Just throwing it back really quick.
Yes.
To the scene where he's auditioning. And what's the character's name who I love, who pops up in so many things? Larry Miller.
Oh, Larry. Larry Miller's great.
Larry Miller. He needs to do more.
The dad from 10
Things. Yeah. The fact that he turns and just midway through it goes...
Yeah.
Like I mouth
that's
wow.
That's a very funny scene.
But that's hilarious.
Yeah. It's a great scene.
So good. Also, I'd just like to mention that if you are going to watch Kiss Kiss Bang Bang in the month of December, there are two things that are Christmas related. One is Michelle Monaghan's outfits.
Yes.
Two is there is a marquee that says Happy Holidays, and that is it.
There is a Christmas stocking.
There's a Christmas stocking
hanging
right
in the.
I love it when you have to point it out
in the hospital at the end.
The point is that every Shane Black movie is set in Christmas. Well, most of them are. This is why we picked it for a number one pick of this year's. It's not always Christmas. No, what is
not
it?
Quite Christmas movies.
Not quite Christmas movies.
It is hard to say. I don't know what I was thinking. It looks good when it's written down.
It's gold. It's gold. I love it.
If you did happen to spot some more Christmas clues, it could be like a little. We should do like a bingo thing.
Down. Yeah.
Where it's like, you got to find all the Christmas moments.
Legs 1177.
Exactly.
Yeah.
If you did spot some more Christmas related shenanigans in Kiss Kiss Bang Bang, do tell us about us because I missed most of them. I honestly thought Christmas was a bigger feature in this in my memory. I was kind of like, it's totally
is it
Christmas.
The party at the start of Christmas party?
Yeah.
No, it's not at all. Like not at all. It's a birthday.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay.
And
wow.
there's some weird like erotic Christmas dancing at some point.
Oh yeah, is that art show that he goes to? Is that a Christmas thing? No,
I thought that was Christmassy because that's where she's dressed up in the.
Yeah,
that's where she's dressed up as
there's a reindeer in the glass thing.
Oh yeah, the sexy reindeer.
Sexy reindeer. Look, there is. We know what we're talking about. Okay, who are you going to believe?
Exactly. I think that might be it though. Just a quick little shout out to previous episode. Did you see? I wanted to actually check and I didn't.
Oh.
The movie that they watch that they pretend is an adaptation of the spy book that has Michael Beck, and they go, oh, Michael Beck is the lead from Xanadu. Michael Beck is Warriors. is the lead guy from the Warriors.
Yeah.
And
I did not see that. Is that him?
Yeah, so he pops up in that movie that they're watching, and I wanted to know what movie it was that they were watching, because they clearly just found an old movie that had Corbin Burnson and Michael Beck in it, and we're like, oh, we'll just pretend this is... What was the name of the spy? The books that the books were based on?
I don't remember. It was such a well-known... No, I don't have it. Corbin Burnson. I just like saying Corbin Burnson. I like saying his name.
Yes. We know. I know he was in. Oh, here we go. Oh, Johnny Gossamer.
Johnny Gossamer.
Oh, it's actually 2 different movies.
It was such a good name. Really?
Oh, interesting. So the Michael Beck shots are from a different movie to the Corbin Burnson shots.
So 2 different films.
Interesting. It's a film called Blackout from 1985 and Dead Aim from 1987.
Nice. Okay.
There you
go. All right. Is there a Christmas James Bond film? I feel like watching like a James Bond marathon has to happen during Christmas or Thanksgiving.
Siri.
Oh my God.
Is there a James Bond film set at Christmas?
Can't search by topic.
Well, for fuck's sake, what's good are you?
Don't ask her.
But Siri, that's what you meant to do. You meant to just go search James Bond Christmas and see what comes up.
We're not there yet with the AI.
We're not there.
We're not there yet. She does well. She does okay.
She goes all right.
She's all right.
Let's move on, Nick.
Do you know I've changed my Siri to an English accent?
Oh.
Yeah. It's really
soothing?
Nice. It is. I would prefer, to be honest, if I had my own way, I would prefer Jarvis.
Oh, absolutely. How good would that be?
I'll do what I can. What did you just say?
Let's move on.
Oh, we're moving on.
Kiss, yes, bang, bang. Done and done.
Done.
Hey, Nick.
Tice.
What did you watch this week? Did you watch anything?
I did, actually.
What'd you watch?
I totally forgot. I watched True Lies.
No, amazing.
How fucking good is True Lies?
Wow, it's been a while, man. I can't wait to actually watch that again. You've got me pumped for it now.
Totally stands up.
Yeah?
Totally stands up.
And how did you watch this?
I have it on VHS.
VHS? You watched a VHS of it?
Because I was so...
Oh my God,
I know, because I don't think you can... Well, I didn't look. I was just going through things and I was like, oh, my VHS of True Lies. You know what? I'm just going to chuck this on. Fuck it. And I was doing other things while I was watching it, but yeah, I watched it anyway. Can you stream it? I think you can. I could be wrong.
Do you know what's funny?
Go on.
I know overseas...
1994, True Lies.
Overseas, you can't get a Blu-ray.
What?
But I know we have a Blu-ray here in Australia.
We do.
Because I've seen it many times.
Yeah.
I know it's like a vanilla shit version.
It's really crap.
It's got no special features. It's got nothing on it.
It's going to be a horrible transfer as well.
It's probably be nasty transfer. But you can definitely get it on Blu-ray in Australia. But I know that I've heard many American podcasts lamenting the fact that you can't get True Lies on Blu-ray in the States.
I have very fond memories, and I have watched True Lies many times. It's something that I used to put on at the video store.
Interesting.
Now, thinking back, that's probably not great because there's quite a lot of violence in that film.
Yes, there is.
But True Lies, there are so many parts that come to mind that brings together a good film. The ending, I have problems with.
Sure.
The CGI is a little dated and things like that. But apart from that, everything from Arnold Schwarzenegger being a spy to... his secret life from his wife getting in on it, and that wife is Jamie Lee, and she is stunning, and of course there's the magical scene which we all love. From that, it is such a balls to the wall. It's the last of the action Arnie movies. It really is. Like, you don't get after that. There is nothing.
End of Days.
That's not. I don't say that. That's. I love End of Days. Don't get me wrong. I owned End of Days.
It's not an action,
but it's not. It's not. End of Days is a.
I think
almost
True
like
Lies
a detective movie.
Yeah, True Lies is just before Eraser, but Eraser is kind of the death of.
It is. It's the
even
death.
though it's probably a bit fun, but.
Yeah. Do I have Eraser? I think I do. Can you have a look?
Oh, I can't see it from here. No way.
No. But yeah, True Lies, especially because, and the reason why I wanted to watch it is because I was talking about it with my brother, and my brother said, "Where has James Cameron gone?" Because my brother is a big fan. Growing up watching Aliens, growing up watching
Pandora.
Terminator
That's
2.
where he's gone.
Exactly, and my brother was like, "Why? Where?" what happened? And he said, Nick, didn't you tell me about True Lies 2? Wasn't that a thing? And for a while it was. There was a script. They were going to shoot it. And then all of a sudden, James Cameron found out that there's another fucking way to do 3D. And no one gave a fuck. Actually, a lot of people did. It is the second highest grossing movie of all time. No.
It's still the first.
Still the first?
Yeah. Well, it overtook his other movie.
It makes me fucking sick. It really does.
I need to watch it again.
No, God damn it! I'm not going to let you waste your time.
I didn't hate it. It's too long, and there's a lot of shit that is unnecessary. But there's also like some pretty great stuff in it.
Oh, all right. You know what? You watch it. You know what? I'm
going to watch the extended cut. I'm going to put myself through it.
You know what? Let's do it on Nick Tice. Fuck it.
Let's do a live watch.
No, we're not doing a live watch.
No?
It'll
just be us sleeping on the couch. Someone waking us up when the fucking mech suits crack out at the end.
Yeah, exactly. But True Lies stands up. I love True Lies from start to finish, especially one of the best all-time chases on a horseback.
Oh, yeah.
So good. Especially you're seeing Arnold. For me, it was the start. I remember as a kid, it was the start of Arnie becoming human. He was always he was always a Terminator. Even though he was playing a human.
Yeah, but he was this unstoppable force.
Exactly.
Always,
he would get a flesh wound by the end, and he's holding his arm, and his arm's out of the socket.
You watch him in Commando. He's unstoppable.
Yeah. In this, you're finding out that he's just a guy.
Yeah.
Like he's a very well trained guy, and he still is.
Yeah, absolutely.
But yeah, True Lies, man.
That first action sequence is something else.
How good is that?
I will say, I love True Lies. I think you could shave a bit off that middle chunk.
No, the end.
The everyday life stuff.
No, shave a bit off the end.
It does end a few times, doesn't it?
Because I love the Bill Paxton part.
It's funny and it's a good time, but I think some of it could just be a little bit, because it's about 2.5 hours, that movie.
It is. It's 2.5.
Yeah. It could be short.
I got a lot of cleaning done.
I bet.
Yeah.
I bet.
Yeah.
I have a good time in that movie.
Yeah.
It's... I don't mind James Cameron being indulgent. I think he's one of those few directors that I'm just like, yeah, man. You want to make a fucking 6-hour movie about water? You have a blast.
Please don't.
Go nuts.
Please don't.
But yeah, that's one where I'm like, yeah, he could have used a second take on that, just to trim some of the fat.
The other thing that comes to mind when I watch True Lies is I remember when it came out, Jamie Lee. It was some interview with Jamie Lee Curtis.
Yeah.
And the scene where she's being interrogated by her husband and she says, I haven't done anything with my life. The sand is running out of the hourglass, and there are things that I wanted to do and I've never done them. And she shot that scene, and then James Cameron with the helicopter, her coming out of the limo, she turned to James Cameron and said, is there any way for me to actually do that stunt? That is Jamie Lee Curtis doing that stunt.
Nice.
That is her doing that.
That's so good.
That is so, and if you have a look at it, the shot that he did, because you're getting it from her point of view, and the limo kind of leaving her feet.
Yeah.
That's her.
Awesome.
It's such a fucking rad thing to do.
Yeah, good on her.
Yeah.
That's kick-ass.
Yeah.
I'm just going to talk about one thing. I've seen a couple of bits and pieces.
Tice?
Well, I've seen a few different things, but there's not really much I really want to talk about, which is interesting. I'm actually finding that a lot of the movies from this year that I'm watching, pretty disappointing.
Are falling flat.
Yeah.
Okay.
I will. Do you know what I'm going to do? I'm just going to do a quick fire little thing of some of this year's movies that I've watched recently.
I like it.
That I am sadly was let down by.
A 2-sentence fire.
That might be a way to do it,
sentences.
actually. And there's only a couple of things here, so I can mention them all pretty quickly.
Okay.
So the first one, I already talked about Ocean's 8, didn't I?
Yeah.
I saw Upgrade. The
Upgrade.
Lee Whannell action movie with the AI that turns him into like a crazy killer.
Come on, really?
Yeah, it's disappointing. Incredible action sequences. Falls flat in almost every other regard, which I was very disappointed by. I actually had such high hopes for that, and I sat down to watch it like popcorn at the ready.
Yeah,
was keen as fucking mustard to watch it.
What is Logan Marshall Green doing? I want him to be in more things.
He needs to play Tom Hardy's brother in something. We need to put them both in the same movie.
Please,
and then the world will explode.
Let it be directed and written by Shane Black. Keep going.
Great.
Yeah.
So I would recommend Upgrade only if, do something else while you're watching it and just enjoy the bonkers action sequences. Because they really are. They're incredibly well filmed, incredibly well put together. Unfortunately, this is a thing with Lee Whannell. his writing is not great. His dialogue never feels great. His character stuff, it's not always spot on.
Did he? Who directed this?
This is him directing as well.
Right.
I still definitely look. Don't get me wrong. I definitely think it's worth seeing.
Yep.
Because it's got some very interesting ideas and the action is great, but disappointing in lots of ways.
Okay.
I saw The Nun.
Oh, Tyson, you brave bastard!
Oh, do you know what? It's not. It's terrible. There was nothing brave about it. It was not scary.
Not scary.
It was.
It looks so scary.
No, look, the nun character itself is kind of interesting.
Okay. Not scary though. Pass.
But no,
pass.
not scary.
Wow.
And kind of ridiculous. Like, this movie feels like what, in adaptation, right? I'm going to get deep here. When Donald takes over writing.
Yes, of the film.
And then the movie starts to feel like a weird action movie.
Yes.
And you're like, it's so clever because, obviously Charlie has written it up to that point and blah, 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 blah. Like one of the greatest examples of meta storytelling ever existed. The Nun feels like that. You are watching The Nun and you're watching this horror movie and it's taking itself very seriously and it's all really kind of moody and atmospheric, but equally parts boring.
Then someone flicks a switch.
And it's the finale, the last 20 minutes, they're cracking jokes. There's like weird kind of like, how are we going to get out of this? Like stuff. It's all like the tone just completely changes. And I was like, what am I watching? What has happened? It's literally like Donald Kaufman came in and wrote the last 20 minutes of the movie.
Really? So you think maybe a producer stepped in and went, this is shit?
I honestly couldn't tell you. I would say the design of the nun itself is a little bit unsettling.
Okay.
And there's a pretty effective shot where she's strangling Tessa Farmiga, and it's POV, so she's right up in the screen.
That's scary as hell.
And look, you'd think so, but by that point, you're kind of over it. It was actually kind of ridiculous, and might be, if I had to put together like a most hated movies of this year, it would probably be on it. It's terrible.
It's a. What did you rate it, Tyson?
I gave it a 4, so 2 stars.
Wow.
Mostly because I think the production design was pretty beautiful to look at.
Okay.
I really liked the set, like the set design and the design of the nun itself. Yeah. And I just feel bad because Damien Bashir, is that his name? Daniel Bashir? No, Damien Bashir. I'm probably saying it wrong because he's Spanish, I think.
Uh-huh.
I really like him. Yeah. And he tries hard. He's trying really hard in this movie as well.
Yeah. Just didn't do it for you.
So,
okay.
Yeah, essentially. And I don't know if I've already talked about this. Have I talked about Pacific Rim Uprising?
Yes.
I did talk about it?
I believe you have.
Interesting. In that
do you
case,
have another one?
The other one I'll talk about is Ant-Man and the Wasp.
Don't talk about that. Save that.
We're going to save that?
We'll save that and we'll talk about it together.
All right.
I don't want. Yeah. Let me go in fresh because I've heard nothing. That's the thing. So let me go in fresh.
All right. Well, then, because I know I definitely already talked about Rampage. So I am trying to work my way through the 2018 movies that I wanted to see.
Yeah, yeah.
So, yeah, this week it was those two.
Nice.
Along with a couple of classics that I was very excited to rewatch again. I'm not going to talk about it for too long, but I just want to say that The Untouchables is still complete perfection.
Absolute.
I love every second, every frame, every moment, every line of dialogue, every score moment.
Absolutely every piece of acting, pause, or anything.
Yeah.
Wow,
The Untouchables, love it, sick.
All right.
Cool. Hey, Nick.
Hey, Tice.
It's time for some Crossing the Streams.
All right.
You got yours?
I don't.
Okay, I'll go mine.
Okay, go for it.
So on SBS On Demand, actually, of all things. SBS...
Hang on a minute. Are we picking Christmas movies?
Oh, shit. Shit. That's going to be hard. All right, well, then in that case...
Do you want to try again?
No, hang on.
Or do you want to...
So I'm going to go out on a limb here.
Oh, yeah.
I'm going to recommend a movie I have not seen.
Oh,
but I've heard excellent things about it.
Okay. Are you allowed to do that?
Well, fuck it.
Well, it's definitely not the Christmas
It's our show,
Prince.
man.
Yeah, good point.
The sequel to Christmas Prince.
Oh, Jesus, no, Tyson. You're not putting me through it again.
We did have some really fun things to talk about when we watched that first one, though.
Yeah, but I'd rather do... all right. What are you going to say?
I'm going to recommend a movie that is also on SBS On Demand, but it's also on Canopy if you are interested.
Oh.
And that is, it's a foreign film.
Called?
and it's called Rare Exports: A Christmas Tale. And this is from 2010.
I've heard of that.
And this is a very strange. I've only, if you want to see the trailer, you'll get the gist of what this movie is.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of like an fantasy horror action film. I'm just going to read the synopsis because this is a movie that I have always wanted to watch, and so I'm probably going to take advantage of it this Christmas. This is the kind of movie that if you are after a Christmas movie that is not your sappy, we need to rally our Christmas spirit, otherwise fucking Santa won't have any presents to deliver. If you would like your Christmas movies to be a little bit different, this is one for you. It's the eve of Christmas in northern Finland, and an archaeological dig has just unearthed the real Santa Claus. But this particular Santa isn't the one you want coming to town. When all the local children begin mysteriously disappearing, young Pietari and his father Rauno, a reindeer hunter by trade, capture the mythological being and attempt to sell Santa to the misguided leader of the multinational corporation sponsoring the gig.
Good Lord.
The dig, sorry, not the gig. So we have a very, very interesting kind of... It's in line with that whole Krampus legend and all that kind of stuff.
Yep.
I've heard it's wonderful, a lot of fun. It has an 89% on Rotten Tomatoes, so that's pretty solid, if you ask me. And you know what's also good about this thing? It's over in an hour and 20 minutes.
That's pretty good. Pretty sweet.
So even if you don't like it, it'll be over before you know it. So Rare Exports: A Christmas Tale from 2010. That's on SBS On Demand.
Nice one.
Nick.
Well, I'm going to go full-blown Christmas, and you will have to pay a little for this, but I'm pretty sure if you have Foxtel or Prime Video, you can just flick it on and it'll be fine. It is...
I have Prime Video.
Do you?
Yeah.
2000's How the Grinch Stole Christmas. This is Jim Carrey in his prime. This is amazing.
Topical. The new Grinch movie is making a hell of a lot of coin.
Exactly. But people are preferring the Jim Carrey version. That's what I've heard. Anyway.
Really?
Yeah.
What people is this?
I don't know. The Beatles.
This is a Ron Howard directed film,
This is a Ron Howard directed film. I love it because you're getting a lot of... Yeah, Ron Howard's fine. I think he's good in some... Like, Ron Howard did... Ransom.
Ron Howard's great. But Ron Howard directing like a weird, kooky kind of children's film, I just don't know if that's his bag.
No, I think it is his bag. Ron Howard directing Star Wars, that's fucking bizarre.
Yeah, that's weird.
I
mean, the man directed Parenthood, so I'm always going to love
him.
And Apollo 13.
Exactly. Please, Ransom, I'm all over it.
Yeah.
But I like The Grinch Who Stole... I gave it a rewatch because... Why? I don't remember. I think me and Sam just decided, because we always watch Christmas movies, we'll give The Grinch a go. And I liked it a lot more than I remembered. I think that's why. And it's it's hands down all to do with Carey's performance. You're not watching it for anything other than that, unless you're a kid and just want to watch something that has filled with Dr. Seuss. Anyone who doesn't like Dr. Seuss, you're an idiot. You're just an idiot. Look up the definition of idiot,
it's Dr.
and
Seuss. You'll find the definition of the word idiot,
which is what you are.
Yeah.
But yeah, Dr. Seuss, I love. I can't get enough, especially because I'm reading them to Clark at the moment.
Oh,
and they're
beautiful.
They're amazing. They're really beautiful books, and they're timeless, and they're not going to age, and they're perfect. But in that, you get what is the name of the town? I want to say Seussical the Musical, but it's not that.
Yeah, it's not. Well, Whoville.
Whoville, that's the one.
It is Whoville?
It is.
Whoville's from Seussical and from Horton.
Yeah, so it's Whoville. And you're getting a story with a moral to it. Christmas isn't just about getting everything that you wanted and all that stuff.
All that stuff.
But you are getting also an amazing performance and some comedy gold from this film as well. Not only that, the set design on this thing is just out of this world. How the Grinch Stole Christmas, 2000.
Was it the year 2000?
The year 2000.
Oh wow!
Yeah. I don't remember. Do you remember it coming out? I don't remember it coming out.
I remember it being a pretty big deal. Yeah.
I
think it was a big deal.
I think at 2000s I was over it because 2000s I was 19 or 20.
Sure.
I was like, yeah, I'm not watching. You know how you go through that period how you're like, I'm not watching fucking kids movies. Fuck.
Sure.
And then during that time, Prince of Egypt and all these ones that come out, and you're like, and you go back and you're like, why the fuck did I stop watching kids movies?
Speaking of Val Kilmer,
I know, right?
Yeah.
Have you seen Alexander?
Yeah.
You have? Was that good? Because that's one of the 5 movies that I stopped watching.
Oh yeah, no.
There's only 5 movies that I've stopped watching.
You don't need to ever watch it again.
Really?
I'm very intrigued to watch the different cuts of it,
Oh,
because
yeah?
there's a few different cuts in existence. I've
Yep.
only seen the theatrical cut,
Okay.
and I did not enjoy it.
Oh.
There is a director's cut, and there is also a final cut.
Oh,
Yeah.
Jesus.
And so I'd be really interested to see, because it's one of those times when the director's cut was not actually the director. You know how they can just, the company can choose to say, the
It's a
director's cut, even though
and they're like, hang on a minute, no.
when they've actually just put some random extra scenes in.
Yep.
So Oliver Stone
To make
got
some
wind
more
of that, I
cash.
think, and then went, no, that wasn't my director's cut. You want my director's cut? I'll
This
do.
is what it is.
And his director's cut is actually shorter, believe it or not.
Wow.
Yeah, he
Okay.
shortened it by about 25 minutes, I
Shit.
believe.
Okay.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll watch that.
So I would like to watch that again. But I did not enjoy it at all that
No.
first time. There's some good bits in it, but generally it's just a fucking mess. Nick, that's going to wrap us, my man.
Tice, that's it.
I wanted to remind the people again where they can find us.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you again for listening to Kiss Kiss Bang Bang. If you have listened to this and you still haven't seen it, we haven't actually ruined anything, so I'd love for you to watch it. If you do that and you like what you've heard thus far, please rate us, review, star, share, like, subscribe, do all of the above.
All of the things.
Write a review. Give that one a go.
We would love to see some new reviews. If we get any new reviews, we will read them on air.
Nice one, especially if it's a little Christmassy.
Oh.
Yeah. But you can do these things on where you find all good podcasts, which is iTunes is the main one, but you can find them anywhere. There's
Yes.
tons. If you would like to join in on any other of the fun that we have on any social media, which is Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and we're on YouTube, but it's not really a social platform.
But you can comment and do stuff.
Jump on there if you want. But apart from that, Tice, the main one that anyone who would like to, if they like what they listen to, and they would like to maybe give some coin by literally just hitting a subscribe button and not actually donating, how would they do that?
Well, you can go to the Radio Public app, or you can do it on your desktop. Search Nick Tyson Videotape, and if you play any of our episodes through that website or through that app, we'll get a little bit of a donation from the company. So all you have to do is choose how you listen to us, and you can help us out, and that would be amazing.
That would be great.
Yeah, we'd fucking love it. Nick, what do we got next week, buddy?
Oh, we've got a lovely Christmas movie, which I swear to God, when we were younger, Tice, it played every year.
Every year.
Every year.
I like how
Channel
we're
9.
going like all in on a Christmas movie after this week, kind of being so vague in the way, and like
We
just
have to.
barely
Barely a
getting
Christmas
a Christmas movie.
Exactly. We are doing National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation.
We are indeed. The shitter is full.
The cat is in the tree.
Yes. So I am very excited for this film.
So I haven't watched this literally since the 90s.
I saw it a couple of years ago, but
Yeah?
I didn't see it. It was just on television, and I watched maybe like the first hour, and I still loved it.
You flick it through.
It's a big flicker, so it's
Yeah.
going to be really fun just to sit down and watch it in its entirety
Yeah.
again. It's
It was
been a
always
long
one of the ones when it already started, and I'm like, well, I can't watch it now. Okay, I'll watch a little bit.
and
you know.
see you 90 minutes later.
Yeah.
Exactly. It's going to be really fun.
I can't wait.
Really, really fun
It's gonna
talking
be
about
fun.
that. I can't wait, Nick.
Yeah.
All right, man. We'll see you then.
Bye, Tice.
Bye, Nick.
Bye.
Bye.